Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Six Invitational here in Montreal, Canada. If you guys just missed out, if you guys missed out on the last match, you guys missed out on a banger. Fnatic upset not only Empire in group stages to knock them out of the event, but also 2-1 against G2. What's been happening so far has been incredible, but once again, I am Veli, and I'm here with the one and only Dev Marta, the APAC representative, and also my NA friend, Emzo. So, this next matchup we have now, MIBR, SSG, the last match of the day. What are your thoughts right now, especially after seeing that last series?
Uphill battle for MIBR.
Yeah, but
really,
it's been the event of the underdogs right now. Yes, we've seen 3 NA teams who a lot of people like you guys have been hyping up, right? But someone here has got to advocate for Latin America.
All right.
And look, MIBR is the last remaining hope for that region. We saw APAC stand true for their region, eliminate the last EU team here. Well, not eliminate, but send down to the lower bracket. Well, I think Space Station, yeah, they've got their work cut out for them. They Team USA, but MIBR here, they're looking for revenge.
Yeah, so listen, Latin America, you have a fan over here. But first, let's jump into the rosters. First one, of course, is going to be Space Station Gaming.
You should really know these guys by now, especially obviously you got Canadian, well-known player coming out of the team, but Rampy has made quite a name for himself, and Bosco as well, but that is the players we tend to highlight the most, but Fultz. He's been the man a lot of times as well.
You said Rampy made a name for himself. Rampy is that guy.
He's that
Fultz is the one that made a name for himself.
Absolutely.
He's been phenomenal.
I mean, and I know we're discounting Thinky Nate a little bit. See that guy right there? He's doing his job.
The whole
Flank
team.
watch is, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying MIBR can't do it, but it's an uphill battle because this team fires on all cylinders.
And they're a flashy team too. I mean, straight out of the gate, first game of Six Invitational, Rampy's like, yo guys, I'm just gonna go and ace.
He will. Insane.
And Canadian, if you haven't seen all the Twitter, all the clips of Canadian from these matches, like I'm most excited for this match just to see what Canadian's gonna pull off.
I can't wait. But also, let's talk about the boys from Brazil, MIBR.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they hit rock bottom in Season 10, and I think a lot of people were hugely disappointed. They were almost relegated. They had to play in a relegations match, and I think it was a new low point for this team, but they started to redeem themselves moving forward into the OGA Pit Minor, where they eliminated G2 in the first round. Eventually, they beat Space Station as well, only to eventually fall to Space Station in the lower bracket final. So this is a revenge story against Space Station here. These Brazilian boys, they have been around for a very long time. They've got some star fraggers, Cyber in particular is one to watch out for. And look, I wouldn't count them out for the world.
All right, so MIBR, Space Station Gaming, you've seen the faces, but also put together a nice little piece for you. Let's go ahead and take a look.
My name is Javier Escamilla, also known as Thinky Nate. I play for Space Station Gaming.
My name is Guilherme Scaff. People calls me Gil, and I'm the coach of MIBR.
So the last match we just had was Game 2 of Group Stage for Group B. We played versus TSM. We won 2-1. It was a very hard match, but we pulled through.
Well, the last game, firstly, against NIP, we were so down, but against Liquid, we were more, how can I say, we were more communicative. And then I think that was advantage for us.
The challenges, usually like their map picks can be their map picks, so we lost their map pretty decisively. They beat us. But honestly, the biggest challenge was just continuing to adapt, just keep it fresh, just so they didn't know what we were doing, and stay ahead of the game.
I think that our first objective was to reach to the playoffs, the phase 2, and we did. So right now, we just have to face the other teams and be on the stage, right?
The win feels really good. Like, again, we're proving that we're a top NA team, that we're making it out of groups again. This time, 2-0, it's pretty decisive. Last year's, it was only 2-1. We had lost one match, so it feels really good.
We will face again Space Station Gaming, another rematch from Olga Pit, so I'm so excited. Beating the Team Liquid, I think that we will be more confident. We will be more, I think, strong in this phase 2, and that's it. I don't know how to say because I think that I'm really happy, maybe.
Beautiful piece of media right there. Watching his smile actually made me happy. And the reason why he's so happy, MIBR, like Dev Marta said, they hit rock bottom. They didn't make any team changes at all, but they came back together as a unit to become one of the best teams in the world right now, top 8. And just to point out, MIBR and Space Station Gaming both made it here during the online qualifiers. That was their last chance.
Yeah, both of them tried really hard to qualify through the OGA Pit Minor, and well, both of them got really close. MIBR in that upper bracket final lost out to Liquid, went down to the lower bracket final, lost out to Space Station. Space Station went to the grand final and couldn't close it out against Liquid, but well, I mean, we're into the map bans now, and yeah,
interesting.
This should be a great game. Look, do you want me to just start diving into these ones?
Yeah, Marta, listen, this is your desk. You own this. Do your thing, man.
So I'm just keen to see where the Consulate comes out. Villa is the first pick. Just taking a quick squiz at some of the Villa stats I've got here. It's a pretty good one for MIBR, 4-0-2 in the recent record.
Club.
These are very comfortable picks for both teams. MIBR, I know for a fact that they're good on Villa. You've seen a lot of it, Imzo.
Okay.
But Border for Space Station Gaming, ever since they picked up Foltz, me firsthand, USN, Pro League, you saw them getting better day by day. And on this map, they look so comfortable, especially Bosco.
I mean, honestly, this is exactly the 3 maps I had written down and predicted. The reason being,
Really?
Well, looking at the overlaps, right? So Space Station only banned 2 maps this whole tournament, Coastline and Villa. So you knew those were going to go. Coastline is a good map from IBR, so you knew they were going to ban that against them. And then Bank wasn't a good map for, MIBR, so they were going to ban that against SSG. The best overlap they had was these 3 maps, Cafe, Clubhouse, and Consulate. So this should be good because both of them have shown stuff here during the tournament. Both of them have shown they can play it well, although Consulate was a little weaker for MIBR, so that's going to be the tough one, and I think it was probably SSG's pick if I remember right.
Consulate was banned out.
So that makes sense. Consulate was banned. I keep reading those.
I know. I feel bad for you, man.
Get your glasses, Boomer.
I do need some glasses here. The screen's a little bit far, but Clubhouse, though, for sure.
So, the head-to-head, Cyber and Rampy, 2 powerhouses on each of their respective teams. What pops out to the top of your head just by looking at this graphic?
Oh, it's just the number there, 1.37 rating, looking at a plus 11 entries for Rampy. He's just so good on those opening engagements and overall so high. And you know what's sad here is Cyber, his stats in this graphic are insanely good.
Yes.
They're kind of just dwarfed by Rampy's, which are even better. These 2 are the guys you want to be watching out for.
All right, what are your thoughts, Imzo?
It's really the case. If Cyber gets shut down, MIBR definitely suffers quite a bit from that. Whereas when Rampy gets shut down, it does hurt SSG, but I think we've seen a lot of other players on the team step up. I was talking about firing on all cylinders. They've got a lot of those. They're more like cylinders in a gun than they are in a car because this team, but at the same time, you want Rampy to do his thing.
You're right. And speaking of Rampy and Space Station Gaming, yeah, we spoke a lot about MIBR, but there's a big difference this year in this tournament. Evil Geniuses, they're not here, but they're IGL, Canadian. He's here with Space Station Gaming, and right now, they are the hottest team in NA, winning USN, being Team USA. What is his impact as an IGL?
I mean, you also got to keep in mind, he's had one of these trophies before in his hands. He's looking to get that again, but as an IGL, he's absolutely got to keep it cool is the big thing, because we know Troy can be a little hot-headed, and that can really hurt his team sometimes. But if you've seen the memes, you've seen the screams, he is on top of at least bringing the emotion to the team and the hype and things like that, to the point where Rampy looked a little scared sitting next to him. I don't blame him, but if they can keep that up and not have it turn back against them, I think his impact as an IGL is going to be huge.
So, this is it. Serious time. Predictions. MIBR, made in Brazil against Space Station Gaming. Who's going to be on top and why?
Not gonna lie, I actually have SSG as potentially my favorite to win the whole tournament.
Really?
I feel like these guys could take the championship. And not only do I think these guys have been improving drastically, they proved that they were top of NA when they won the US Nationals. They've had really good performances in Pro League and also at the OGA Pit Minor. But I feel like the one factor is Canadian, man. Just Canadian. I want to see him on the main stage, and I want to see that passion.
All right, so Space Station Gaming, you're from America, you're from California.
I still like MIBR. They're one of my favorite Latin American teams. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating. I just love Space Station.
All right, I personally feel like this is going to be a revenge tour for MIBR. They beat Liquid, and now they're trying to be the best team in the world. But you know what? Enough talking. Let's jump right into the action. I believe it's Gucci Blue and Stokes right there in the caster booth. Boys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Veli. And it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to jump into our final matchup of the day. It's going to be another great one for you. This whole tournament has been great so far, and we've got another match. We have MIBR going up against Spacestation Gaming, another North American team looking to pave their way through into the upper bracket semifinals early with a victory over a Ladan team. But at the same time, as our analyst desk said, a Ladan team currently on a revenge tour against multiple teams, including this one, as they're going to try and take Spacestation Gaming down to the lower bracket early.
The last time these two met up, it was OG8 Pit, where we saw SSG win that. You can throw it back even farther if you want to, all the way back to last year at this exact same time. SSG was up against MIBR, but Chala and Redeemer were still in the lineup.
Into the first map we go. Villa is the battleground between these two teams. Space Station will get the start on defense. MIBR goes to the attack. This is MIBR's map pick. IQ, interestingly enough, is going to be the initial attacker band that's eliminated by Space Station. And then we'll see MIBR's knockout in just a second here. That could make some of these rounds very dangerous. As we know, Villa is a very roam-heavy map. IQ proving to be very important to knocking out any trap utility or any other devices that are placed in the middle of the map to try and trip up the early clear. And getting rid of that is going to make that task much, much more difficult.
Yeah, not having IQ is a huge thing. She does so much on Villa because of the amount of soft destruction on the floor, and she can get rid of a lot of utility, as well as counter out that pulse scanner as well. Habana banned out, so probably just trying to rip away at that impact tricking that you can do, making that a little bit more viable with only having exothermics as well as the Maverick. So Mira going to be banned out, as well as Valkyrie. Valkyrie's a pretty mainstay ban nowadays just because she gives so much intel, as well as since Space Station banned IQ, they don't want to keep her up just because those cameras are a little bit harder to find. But one thing to notate though, when we're talking about things that are difficult to find, Echo is still alive.
Echo is still alive. You have other operators like Legion that can come into the play here too that can cause quite a few problems if they're not being checked for properly. So SSG going to look to try and delay with Trap. Another operator as well that can have free movement now is going to be Canadian on the Pulse. We've seen a lot of Pulse play getting either countered out or limited by great IQ play earlier on in this tournament. And obviously again, it's banned out, so it's no longer going to be a factor. Canadian will have free roam primarily of the basement, but of other areas of the map too to try and detect the execute before it actually happens. We'll be upstairs in Trophy and Statuary to start. As we get through the 6-pick phase, Rampy kind of second-guessing that one right there on the Mozzie, but he does end up locking it in as he switches off the Cade.
Fantastic pick for the bans, especially. Not having an IQ will allow those pests to stay around just a little bit longer instead of IQ just running around and shooting them all. Also, not having IQ in play makes that Mute Mozzie combo just way more potent with the Vigil and everything you can do with that. Just all of the electronics that are currently on the field, the only person that's going to be able to handle them quickly will be Thatcher. So look for a lot of Thatcher play. M-King's already bringing it. You're more than likely going to see this throughout Villa.
Continuing on with the setup here, Space Station going to look to set things up relatively normally for the most part. We'll have all three of the walk-in walls getting re-secured along with the usual walls, of course, next to the statuary itself, just to block out that bedroom and the master access early on. Besides, in terms of like gadget setup or anything, there's nothing too complex here for Space Station, not really bringing the operators that would entail that anyway, which are more than likely going to see Thinking Nate after he gets his turrets down play closer to the sites as that anchor that we always know Maestro to play onto. MIBR has spawned out on the board in the meantime, and they're making progress already, trying to move themselves up, more than likely onto that master balcony, start fishing for control of those two rooms.
MIBR early on here wants to get catching control away from Space Station. They need to wrangle that quickly. Canadian on one of his most known operators, going to be playing the Pulse. He used to play this all the time, but as times have changed with Siege. Oh no, he ends up down in one, goes for the kill, but no, Canadian's there to trade it out. There was still one more member of MIBR downstairs, but we haven't seen him rotate just yet. I believe that was the twitch of Navi's. Navi's
hold on.
Fast now with the F2. They're running up the staircase. He has to be quicker than that. They know he's there though. Oh no, 2 targets for Navi's to find. He could come up huge here, but it seems that he's waiting for his teammates, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to hip fire, kills Rampy, but his Canadian's still standing here. Had the cardiac cardiac sensor out, so he knows that 2 people are here, but they're going to vacate the premises.
Such an awkward fight, such a non-traditional spot for teams to have such a large battle on, and really no one coming out as the winner from it at the end of the day. Just an even trade at 1-1, with one additional player taking heavy damage from their health pool, Canadian being the one on SSG to take that, and Navi's being the one to eat it for MIBR. Now backing away, they are going to go up onto the master balcony with at least 1 to 2 players to start droning this out, and once again to take that control away from SSG. It's very well secured from the other side, so they won't have to worry about too much aggression, just the normal angles from the statue door along with the master bathroom door.
That took a huge amount of time, but the defense doesn't have any wall denial, so Hugzord will be able to get these whenever he wants to. The only thing he has to worry about is those impact grenades going over the top. You're looking to Thinking Nade for those. He's the only one that has them anymore in this defensive lineup if you haven't been playing for a while. Thinking Nade with the very first one, and he gets it. Impact grenade secures, and that's the issue with not having a Habana anymore. All of these impact tricks are practically secured. Thinking Nade doesn't have another one, but he has a kill, and he might have 2. Hugzord, no, trades it back as he puts a bullet through Thinking Nade's head. Navi is working his way in from bench's door. He's inside of Statuary. Space Station still has decent map control, but MIBR is bearing down on Statue right now. Some great cardiac sensor work there from Canadian will allow Space Station to have a little bit more info about their surroundings, and that could definitely fix things here in the last 20 seconds.
MIBR with the capability to pinch on the statuary right now, but not feeling the confidence to go for it. Time's too low, though, so finally they do push in and make their first attempt at the plant. Fultz waiting for his opportunity to swing around to the outside, breaking down the softball. He's going to find Navi's off of that mark. M-King there to trade it, but Bosco finds one more. One left standing for MIBR, and he'll quickly be dispatched by Bosco, as we will see Space Station pick up the first round with 2 players still standing.
Beautiful play there by Space Station. Fultz capitalizes first through the bench's wall, and then the rest of Space Station goes around the opening in the wall through bathroom. It'd be Bosco. Canadian keeping him busy with a couple of gunfights as well, just to distract them while Bosco did the things that Bosco does. And that's get 2 kills. SSG up at the start. MIBR overall just took a little bit too long downstairs trying to deal with everyone on the staircase. It kind of just had a staring match, and it really didn't come up to much except for 2 people dying, obviously. But the rest of SSG was able to rotate back to safety and play out their lives. Now, here's where things are going to get even more difficult as we actually go to dining room and kitchen instead of planes and games. So we're going to have a 6-pick off of the castle as well. So Rampy and Canadian more than likely going to go on a roam game again. Rampy got off of the Mozzie. That's in Thinking Nade's hands now. This is the power of SSG, and a lot of the NA rosters here just continuously carousel these operators to each other.
We've seen a lot of teams feeling more comfortable to go for these off-site downstairs sites in the past couple of months, with the meta being more, I think, officially determined amongst a lot of the teams in each region. Now, LATAM was the first team to try and expand out from that and start experimenting with this site specifically a little bit more. And I think MIBR was one of the teams we started seeing, at least in Pro League games, exercised first. So they should still have a pretty good idea about how to deal with this attack. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a success, though. Like I said, it's been a couple months, so Space Station has had plenty of times to lock down their own strategy here themselves. We can already see the double reinforcements being placed upstairs onto the inside of Statuary. They still do not want to let that control go over to MIBR due to the risk of top-down play that could send them either out of position or out of sight downstairs below that.
SSG's entire plan here is for MIBR to take the map from the south and work their way across from games and planes. You can see that they set up barricades and everything for sound cues. They have cameras over there. That's where Space Station wants them to take from. But MIBR, being a LATAM squad, has different ideas about that. They want to hit the site directly above it. They want to handle things from Deer Window as well as Master. Space Station's going to have to make sure that they either trade extremely well or get lucky on one of these opening frags. MIBR, again, works very quickly in these instances, so this could be some troublesome road here for Space Station.
He's checking downstairs. He's a little bit wary of a run out right there from Mudroom, but not going to be able to catch it this early on, and his teammates will soon be joining him in a second. M-King, in the meanwhile, already moving in to take control of Walk-In. It does appear as though he is alone in this right now, so he's going to have to be careful. Won't be alone for too much longer, however, as MIBR's other players will be joining him here in Master in just a moment. Canadian does spot out one player. He's got a pre-play C4 on the ground. So many players just inches away from it on the inside of Master. MIBR, do they see it coming? Well, we're going to find out here in just a second. Minute and 42 left, so he's gonna have to be careful. In the meanwhile, though, Rampy will get caught on that run out. Navi's also finds another entry to move into the inside of Trophy. Bye-bye to Fultz, and Thinking Nate also falls as well. Great opener from MIBR, and now Canadian and Bosco gonna have to try and pull off a miracle and reverse this 2v5.
Canadian finally gets a kill with that Nitro Cell that was sitting on the ceiling, but MIBR has all of top map control. So that trade not going to mean too much at the end of the day. That is Cyber, though. That is the Sledge, the only soft destruction operator that has enough to break up all of that flooring. Obviously, they do still have some impacts in the likes of Bullet. But talking about impacts, Bosco's making a huge impact now, but he misses the shotgun blast. It's down to Canadian, the man that's been popping off this entire tournament in this 1v3. He gets the first kill, and down to the 1 versus 2. Navi's and Bullet has a double kill in the round so far. Canadian sitting right outside of China. Concussion, he sees him, but the concussion's gonna do enough to obscure his vision. Bullet kills him, and MIBR finds the first round.
There's a banana on that monitor, I just realized as well. Not really important, but just wanted to point that out. Anyway, nice play from MIBR. Great job on the team play overall to be able to pick up those early frags and completely destroy, really, SSG's chances of being able to hold on to the site. A good attempt in the 2vx situation to try and bring it back, but I think too much ground was lost on that initial execute where we saw MIBR take upstairs control near Astro and Statuary away. It just didn't really leave enough room for them to come back after that. Even doubly making sure by using the Zofia stun charge to get the final kill on the Canadian, as they do not want to mess with him when he is on one.
Yeah, there's a big difference between Canadian and Big Bad Nadian. There's a very large difference, and if you guys, again, are new to Rainbow Six Siege, and you haven't seen Troy's pop off throughout the weekend, make sure to go watch that.
Really, it is really easy way to tell them apart, actually. One's just really loud compared to the other one.
Yeah, that's basically it. One is very loud as opposed to the other. A great attack there from MIBR, though, just heading directly upstairs instead of finagling around with all the barricades and everything that was set up for them to do the standard clear from starting and study and working their way across. Read Space Station very well there. I will say they burned their EMPs very early with M-King, but it got them a lot of pressure. A lot of drones were able to actually go get intel, and that was Space Station's entire plan when it came to the upstairs. Try and deny some time. We want them to take from the south so that they have to go through barricades, and we'll have yokai drones to assist these gunfights, but instead MIBR hits Master, takes top control very quickly. Space Station really doesn't have too much to say about it, and that's why we're sitting at a 1-1 scoreline. Now, though, as we switch into round 3, we'll be going to a site that we haven't been to just yet for Space Station. We're going to be going all the way downstairs, actually, into living room. MIBR currently working with 90. Canadians died early on here. That was Bullet, and so he had just been down. Bullet secured that, and that's going to be highly impactful, actually. Having a Legion die this early on means you don't get nearly as many goo mines. Navi is early to the party as well. He's already got an angle that's trained onto the single panel inside of 90.
I didn't get to check it closer to his death, but it did look like Canadian was holding on to a couple charges as well, meaning there may even be even less than he actually could have had potentially out onto the ground at that point, either if he was trying to save them to wait and see where MIBR wanted to play. Either way, Bullet's going to run into at least one of them as he manages to push his way forward and takes a little bit of damage as a result of that. No one else from the team really going to be caught up by those goo mines, though, due to Canadian's premature death. Navi's trying to go for a little bit of premature spam, just a bit off on the timing of it, so won't be able to land anything. Cyber will just throw a drone onto the ground, not going to actively use it at this point, but keeping watch, so that his teammates, if they end up going down, are going to be able to keep an eye on that. Away from it, though, we'll see Cyber start to knock out some of the walled areas down from below and see if he's going to be able to spot out anyone that might be in the open from SSG, but that's not the case. SSG trying to play this a little bit more difficult, holding in the open and holding closer to the site with this setup that they're hoping MIBR won't be ready to counter.
Great intel there from Navi's on that Twitch drone. Sees that soft destruction, so he knows he can't hop the window. MIBR still trying to figure out how to handle this site. They're sitting on the outside of the building for the most part with Navi's. The other couple have worked their way into Mudroom now. Bullet sitting at the door, so they have north control here. It's all up to Space Station, though. Need to continue to slow down this attack. Again, that early kill on Canadian is going to mean a lot. Those goo mines can make or break an offense with how many of them you get, especially around this 48-second mark here. Rampy with the first kill, Thinking Nate with the second, but Navi's finally tries to shut them down. It's a 3v3 now for the time being.
He's going to try to find the corner angle here as he wraps around. They're going to go for soft destruction instead. Good read on the situation from Navi's. Unfortunately, Space Station also figured out what was going on, and the lack of the destruction of that default camera is going to make Navi's intentions a bit more obvious. Cyber, though, still finds the next kill. Thinking Nate taking a lot of damage, I believe, from Cyber himself to bring him down to just under 25 HP. The rest of the team, though, is running incredibly low on time to execute, but M King will find the next kill against Thinking Nate. Space Station, unfortunately, just with not enough room to play into the site, and the last man, Fultz, tries to make a re-aggression to the inside to stop the plant, but fails at the hands of M King. MIBR find their second round against a first floor defense, and now take the lead at 2-1.
Now I see the banana.
Yeah, see here.
There's definitely a banana on that man's monitor.
Banana for scale.
It's one of my favorite memes of all time.
Now you guys know how big the monitor is.
Now you guys know how big the monitor is. If
24 inches, I think.
If you want one of the Acer Predator monitors, just take a banana out, set it on your desk, and go, oh, this feels like should be right around that. So, anyways, Aviator and Games gonna have a tag time out. I'm going to assume. Nope, we actually
technical.
have a tech pause. So, as they try and fix up some stuff, what happened?
The banana's out of sync.
That happens. It does happen. You got to reset it.
You got to reacquire the signal.
Yeah.
On the banana satellite.
Very hard. Yeah, you got to make sure to flip that thing over, have it pointed in the proper direction. It was pointing down. I've never seen a banana point down.
Some banana satellite interference.
Yeah, you always want your bananas pointing up, so you know they're healthy and happy.
All right, guys, we fixed the issue relatively quickly, so we are back in game already. Apologies for that delay. But here we go. A 6-pick is going to come out from our defenders as they bring Echo into the play. Canadian, who traditionally has been on the pulse, is going to be the one to bring it in.
No more banana memes, chat. I'm sorry. We can't do it anymore. So, SSG, and actually Banana Man himself, I can fit one more Canadian in here before this bag gets overloaded. Canadian switched off of the Legion, instead wants to grab the Echo. More than likely thinking that some more passive play could help him out. Just died too early on in that last engagement, and that really would have helped him out once MIBR went for the attack. It was a one-pronged attack. There was really nothing else to it. They just kind of walked in through mud, and that was it. They had control of library, or excuse me, of living room, put a diffuser down, and that's all she wrote. That was round 3 in a handbag. So SSG now adjusting things back to a site that we haven't seen them go to just yet. They're to Plains and Games. So plenty of soft destruction. You're more than likely going to see some more impact tricking going on because with Thatchers on the board, there's really no point in bandit tricking. There's really no point. You might as well bring impacts and just try and impact trick over. If you know that there's going to be a Thatcher on the board, try and ban a hard breacher like Habana to where you can keep those impacts and they still have a lot of impactful use.
Well, now he's going to retrieve one of his Twitch drones as it rolls right on the outside. Navi's will now recommit that drone right upstairs just so he doesn't take the risk of it getting spotted up on the red steps approach. Oh, but unfortunately it'll get shot as he tries to push it up towards 90 to take out the default cam there anyway due to Space Station's active hold in the area. Besides this, still plenty of time remaining, so no stress at all for MIBR, but they do have partial upstairs control, moving in to take some stuff towards Astro, and as we can see in the case of Bullet, all the way over here towards 90 as he's pushed all the way up to the hall. They try to swing back in and around the corner here. There is a big setup from SSG. He's going to be careful about the way he peeks this. See if we got pings. It seems as though Space Station doesn't really want to take that fight. They'll end up backing away. And quickly, he'll also dispatch of that evil eye that went unchecked up until that point. Will cost them about 10 HP or so as it gets a couple of those laser bursts off.
Gotta love those little intricacies of Siege. Just didn't check one corner, get a couple laser blasts, impacted immediately. It's always the funny things, but Cyber still has frag grenades. It's important to note, MIBR has control of the north side of the building as they move up through bus. Cyber getting very aggressive as well. Back onto drones now. Minute and 20 seconds. They need a little bit of intel in order to get onto the site. Again, this is 5-5 up right now. This is huge. If they're able to get 90 open here, which they will not be able to because Thinking Nate is running the impacts, this is going to be very difficult for them. They're going to have to go for the doors.
Oh, no.
As Thinking Nate gets the second thermite charge. So that means that they're going to have to funnel in through these doors, which is going to be very difficult. Bosco as well as Thinking Nate, each of them have 3 pieces of utility that waste a whole hell of a lot of time, folks. Those Goyo shields each last for 10 seconds. But you know what else doesn't last for 10 seconds? A gunfight in Rainbow Six. Navi dies to Fultz inside of the long hallway next to Bar as they're still trying to hold down main. Canadian's going to get some of his own, but he's going to take a lot more damage than he gives.
Well, just continuing to wait on the angle for any wraparounds that come up on the main stairs into the 90 angle. Not going to find any more, though. Everybody else has retreated to the upstairs part without any study control going by the way of MIBR. Spacestation has that clean rotate to try and swing back in. It seems as though that has changed up a little bit, though, as you do have Hugs looking to push his way in, but Thinking Nate has shut down another player from MIBR in the process. They're all falling to pieces. It's all down to M-King, and there you go. A flawless round at the end of the day from SSG as they take control of Aviation and Games.
It's almost like they had to go through every door because they couldn't get a wall open.
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know why it happened.
Had to commit themselves to the re-rotate over towards study, which wasn't part of the original plan. Everything getting tripped up, having to try and hope players over-peaked on angles. Just a lot of ifs right there in MIBR strategy, and those ifs just didn't end up happening at the end of the day.
Yeah, when you have an Habana ban and you don't have any other hard destruction that you can possibly use in order to get a wall open without getting impact tricked, things are very, very difficult on the offensive side.
Ooh.
MIBR already having 2 rounds as well.
Capcan
is actually fantastic. Yeah, as you said, Capcan coming in. An operator we don't see too often. I'm getting tongue twisted everywhere. For him, though, he has EDDs. Entry denial devices. He gets 5 of those. He's able to screw those onto door frames around the map. As long as there is a door frame, he is able to put one on it. You can put him at head height or at crouch height, which will be down at around your ankles. Each one of those that goes off takes a hefty amount of your health, and usually, if not gone undroned, will do about half damage or kill somebody very early on if they do end up walking into one of those traps. SSG, though, going for a downstairs setup. Rampy adjusting his reinforcements to downstairs, probably to help out Troy, because Troy is on that pulse. The last time that they were on this site, we also saw Rampy and Canadian get into some shenanigans over on the staircase that goes downstairs, right here. I can't remember the exact name of that one. There's so many staircases on Villa.
Which one?
The one under astronomy. The one that goes downstairs. This one. I can't remember the exact name for it.
We just call it Astro Stairs, don't we?
The one that goes to the basement? No, that's astronomy stairs that we're staring at.
Oh, I thought we just called the whole thing Astro.
No. No. Is that technically like China stairs because we call that area in there China? I don't know. Pro players, man.
I just call the whole thing Astro Stair. I know it's 2 separate staircases. Well, we'll figure that out later.
I just don't like Villa. I'm just going to be honest. Like, every time Villa loads up, I'm just like, no.
I love it. Meanwhile, we've got Navi's going in through the side window, or at least establishing an angle to take that control. Of course, the team once again going to be looking to pinch that out so that he can safely move in over the next few moments here. Still only a minute into the round, though, and that's quite a bit of control already going over to MIBR that they can use to set themselves up for an execute. Bullet checking for the soft destruction here. Oh, gets himself a slight angle against one of the members of SSG as well. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get any damage off from that position, however.
It's always scary when you see your life flash before your eyes, and the smoke of Fultz will definitely feel that pain for just a little bit. Oh, gonna knock a drone downstairs, so MIBR is not going to have access to that for a little bit. Have to drive itself back up or find some other means of travel, and that's what they're gonna use that for. That was Hugzord's drone that got knocked downstairs. C1 at the clock, right next to the kitchen entry point. MIBR doing a pretty good job of getting map control downstairs. They still have one to worry about. Canadians inside of kitchen. We have 3 members of MIBR currently on this floor, but Navi's is outside. Rampy's still here to assist Troy as well. So MIBR trying to figure out what they want to handle first. They just want to hit the site directly, or they want to go downstairs and try and tussle with Rampy as well as Canadian. It looks to be, for the time being, that they want to hit the site. It looks like they might be setting up to just cover their rotations instead, which could be very bad. Rampy and that cap can also have a nitro cell. So that's 2 nitro cells down low, along with a cardiac sensor. That doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun.
40 seconds remaining now for MIBR to at least start the plant process. Needs to be interrupted once again, though, if it goes past 0 timer. Navi's waiting for someone to rotate from Astro, but that's not the danger spot he needs to be wary of. It's Fultz hiding behind the foxhole right now. Bullet, in the meanwhile, is going to find success, is able to take out Rampy closer to the downstairs part of the map. More trades going off downstairs towards kitchen. In the meanwhile, Cyber gets himself a double. The push coming in, and a missed note from Fultz, but he does eventually get the kill. Problem is, he's the only one really left up here anymore. Nitro cell out from Canadian. It's unsuccessful, though. Doesn't manage to stop the plant, and now he's got to go right into the Lion's Den in order to pull off this retake. They are waiting for him, and they will quickly take him down as Cyber shuts down another round for MIBR, giving them control over round number 5.
MIBR looking so good with how these bans went, especially for this map. Not having very much hard destruction control or anything of the sort, but they're winning the gunfights through these pinch points, and that's exactly what they've needed to do. SSG can only tie now on their defensive side, and that's where they needed to run things up. Villa's pretty defensive-sided when it comes down to things, regularly speaking. These bans only made it harder for them to try and gain any traction, and the offense is still winning.
MIBR continuing to find success, and at the same time, SSG continuing to double down on the downstairs sites, despite the fact that they have been relatively unsuccessful for their defense. Possible slip-ups happening here for SSG now, as they are unable to figure out their strategy, the winning strat anyway, that they can bring to the table on these sites, and not feeling confident enough to re-attempt the upstairs ones.
Castle barricades now for Fultz. Haven't seen him on the castle just yet. We actually haven't seen a castle this entire game thus far from SSG. We've seen it flash in the reveal phase, but then picked in the 6-pick phase, which, if you guys are wondering what the 6-pick phase is, what the 6-pick phase is after the reveal phase where it shows each team, each other's operator lineup, you're able to secretly pick another operator, but only one player gets to do it for that round. So you're able to 6-pick and then choose another op of your choice inside of our operator pool on offense and defense, whichever side you're on. So for instance, in the last phase, Rampy could have had Mozzie and then 6-picked over to Echo to try and hide that from their opponent.
Charger's gonna get checked up on the roof real quick, and they'll drive that right back down to the inside of Master. Give these guys a little bit more purview in terms of what's going on for the setup. They'll spot out these castle barricades and all that in a moment as well, since SSG has set up either Fultz or someone else to hold on the inside of Astro, coming off of the support from those barricades. And meanwhile, M-King looking for a route to move in over here through side door on the outside of Kitchen. And also checking the stairwell leading down to the basement from Kitchen 2, just to try and check all of these angles here and see if anything might present itself from SSG. SSG, though, once again, playing very close to the chest right now, not wanting to take contention against MIBR at all. It's been a very mixed bag in the early rounds, so they, I'm certain, do not want to take any unnecessary risks right here.
Well, Navi's now inside of Deer. Oh, plenty of pressure here. He's watching the angle towards Astronomy. This could mean everything for them for this early pick. You have sights trained on it, though. You guys saw Fultz looking at it from inside of Trophy, working his angles now. Navi's not going to get close enough. Goes for another punch on the barricade. Trying to pinch out the upstairs, but still a minute and a half left here, as Space Station's actually rotated off of Trophy, and Navi's currently has control.
A little under 90 seconds remaining. SSG continuing to hold in static fashion right now. Even with MIBR having control upstairs, this is where things are going to get a little bit dodgy. A few players may be caught out because of the sledge play currently happening upstairs from Cyber. Bullet, in the meanwhile, also making progress down those back stairs. But so far, Cyber's attempts to go fishing have not yielded any food for him and his team. SSG remains a full 5-man squad. Just a little bit of damage on the Canadian. Well, quite a bit of damage, to be fair. But only that damage on the Canadian. In the meanwhile, Bullet looking to push him out. And MIBR, when they commit to pushing an area, they commit with a lot of manpower. 2 players swinging together to try and commit themselves downstairs in the hopes of dealing. I believe that's Canadian once again hanging out down here. We'll see them all have to retreat as time is too low. They need to focus on the execute. So Canadian is going to be allowed to roam free here. Or at least that would appear to be what's happening. As we check for Bullet, who's still holding the angle.
This is what pulse play is all about, using that cardiac sensor whenever it's available, making sure you get as much intel for yourself as well as your teammates. Bullet working his way into Kitchen now, but it's going to be 2 quick kills for Thinking Nade. Another, but no, it's going to be 2 quick trades back as well. SSG actually ahead inside of man count now as the diffuser starts to go down inside of Kitchen. M-King and Cyber both full HP until Cyber, actually M-King gets downed. Cyber on very low HP as he's been yokai droned. Another yokai pours in. He can't put a diffuser down, and Space Station equalizes.
Space Station with a very static hold, specifically Canadian in the basement, going undiscovered, or at minimum keeping himself alive for all that time, eventually wasting enough time to force MIBR into a haphazard execute where the site anchors are able to shut the round down. Beautifully done, and once again, props to Canadian for providing all the intel from down below to make their job that much easier. MIBR with a somewhat, I'm trying to think of the word for it.
It's a word.
I just blanked on it. That's really
I was writing down notes, so I wasn't
deceiving, that's what I meant to say. Sorry. MIBR with a somewhat deceiving amount of upstairs control that they were never really able to leverage into any type of early kill or any type of actionable intel, and that's ultimately what becomes their grave, that one, is thinking that they had enough to execute when in reality they didn't, and they still had Canadian to deal with in the basement during all that time.
God,
that's what I meant to say.
Do you get paid for this? You're so intelligent.
I hope so.
Wow, that's crazy. Looks like it's your job or something. Oh, wow. Funny how that works. Anyways, MIBR and Spacestation Gaming switching sides now. Make sure you guys look down on the bottom right as well. Get those battle passes. Do it. I'm so serious. Dude, skins equal wins, in case you guys were wondering. And it's the best Mozzie skin that we currently have inside of Rainbow Six Siege. So if you want to have just the most Chad mustache you've ever had in your life on your operator, you get that battle pass and you level it up. Because Mozzie's looking great, just like MIBR is looking great right now. Great offensive half by them. Space Station has to do the exact same thing. Otherwise, MIBR is walking away with Villa. This is their map pick as well. So MIBR looking good across their choice in map. They are going to pick up the Goyo as well, and they're not starting off in the same fashion. What just happened there? Navi's on a run out, gets Bosco as he's slacking over on the south side of the map. I believe he died out in ruins. I believe so, but nah.
That's going to be MIBR once again getting off to a hot start. Early round has far more often favored them than SSG, even now as we move into the second half here with the teams switching sides. Fultz now going to go for a very slow clear, supported entirely by a drone here, taking Astro first. So that's that Claymore up against the Astro Stairs walk up. And that will be clear to move in through trophy and statuary over the next couple seconds. Also just going to preset the drone up here in the banister in the event that someone tries to push up the stairs anyway and succeeds in knocking out that Claymore.
That's such a big pick for MIBR as well. Able to get Bosco off the field, no more Jackal, so no more footsies being tracked. Especially no more drones for him, so it's going to be very harsh to the drone economy. You can already see Rampy has lost one, but that means that a couple other drones have already been lost as well. You can definitely tell by how Space Station's currently moving. They're still looking for intel, a little starved for the time being. They're actually still outside, all the way on the eastern side here. We do still have two members of SSG inside, though, Rampy and Fultz, as they're both working separate angles. Fultz currently inside of 90, Rampy looking for a frag grenade right now through the bus door. Doesn't seem to have too much trouble here. Obviously, there is Cyber with those ADSs that he set. That's exactly what they were worried about. He's going to have Fultz burn, then he's going to go for a frag grenade. This kill could mean everything for the round, but it's going to fall on deaf ears. So not going to work out for them as this timer continues to tick down.
There's the jump in. We are going to see the Pest take away a drone, but it'll be quickly shot out by Canadian, so won't be any actionable utility by Navis. They don't really have time to get onto it and move it anyway. They very rarely do this late into the round, so usually that just means a lost drone, not necessarily utility going the enemy's way. Another preset C4. We've been seeing a lot more of these at this event. Navis trying to line one up against the push from the outside of Study. We're going to be a bit before we see that properly utilized, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get taken care of by that EMP grenade anyway.
It should be, but it could always be just out of radius. I don't hear it beeping anymore, so I'm going to assume not. EMP's in, going for some hard destruction. This thinking aim will be upside down, but Navis clicks his forehead, lets him know that he can still see him. Hard destruction goes off. Fultz and Rampy get 2 kills. All of a sudden, we're on equal footing. Cyber on a flank, though, and this is going to mean everything. 3v1. Pros to MIBR here. Fultz rotating towards Bus, gets 1 kill, 1 versus 2, only 10 seconds remain, so he's going to have to go for a kill fest instead. Pre-fires into Gun Vault, getting lit up from every single angle, can't get the smoke, dodges back and forth, but no, it's going to be the M590 to win it out, and MIBR take the lead.
MIBR really thriving in chaos to a certain extent in this match right now. We're seeing SSG try to get themselves a lot of intel that they can use to execute, and obviously, now that they're on the attacking side, try to take out roamers and whatnot in the early round, but it's really been a struggle for them to actually lock down anyone, let alone catch, like I said, the more heads-up plays that we're seeing from MIBR. When they play more unpredictably in the face of SSG, they often don't know how to deal with it, and at best are ending up in an evenly traded situation where they'll fall behind later to the same type of play from MIBR. SSG needs to clean this up, otherwise map number 1 could slowly but surely be shifting into the control of MIBR.
Well, Thinking Nate going to get rid of the Thatcher. Appears that SSG doesn't think it's being too impactful. They'd much rather worry about the flanks, which they should be, because they were looking very, very good going into the last 50 seconds there after those initial kills. They were able to get the wall open. But now it's going to be very troublesome for them because of all those flanks that were happening from MIBR. They've had to switch things up. Thinking Nate picking up that Nomad once again. So they're not going to have anything of the sort to be able to handle the Electro Claws from Cyber. We'll go to the kitchen site for MIBR on their second defensive round.
Setup phase continuing here. MIBR also looking to try and leverage the best setup for themselves. Because once again, the game is really, in my opinion at least, under their control right now, the way that they are winning out these rounds. And especially now that they have shifted to the defensive side, are able to make more unpredictable early round plays that I think SSG has an even higher chance of not catching, which has been the big key. SSG not paying attention to these more heads-up plays from MIBR. See if they're going to try anything in the early round once again here. Not looking too much like it, with the exception of potentially some play from the garage in the basement there. You can see, I believe it's Navi's in that position watching for anybody who might try to play against him, and indeed it is. Thank you very much. Marcio on the observation now.
All about that cardiac sensor work. Both of these teams have been able to pull it off with flying colors. Again, with that IQ ban, Pulse gets even more potent. You're not able to keep a track on him, as well as Vigil. Really anything electronic. It just makes everything a whole heck of a lot harder. EMP grenades can always assist, but as we saw, Space Station 6 picked off at that, but they're still going to get some phone calls. Navi's the one to send it. Volts will die, and that's going to be the Zofia for the round. We'll have to ride the bench. 2 minutes and 5 seconds left, so Space Station making decent time, but the issue is now, though, is since it was a Nitro kill, really no chance to refrag onto anybody. MIBR now, since they have man advantage, can just play things slow and steady and let Space Station make the next move. Currently for Space Station Gaming, they're going for a south to north clear. Setting up a flank drone is Rampy as he sits inside of 90. King, as well as a few other members of MIBR, sit inside of Trophy and Statuary, just trying to waste as much time as possible. Space Station wants this top control. They have the sledge of Rampy. They just need to reach out and grab it. They actually have 3 members up here, King, Cyber, and Bullet. So they all mosey around this area.
Quite a hefty setup committed to the upstairs part of the site. We are going to see Jackal Scan go out onto one of the members of MIBR. Nade going to the inside of Trophy in hopes of catching someone too. Just a little bit of damage going on to one of their players though, and now going to ditch away. That's King bailing out from the fight and falling back closer to the site itself with just over a minute remaining. Rampy still wasting time looking for this player as well, even though he is long gone from the equations. That's going to be an additional 10 seconds or so that is taken away from that play.
Got an fight here for Canadian, as I believe he's inside of Laundry. That's exactly where he's going to be. Navi's still alive on that cardiac sensor. Had it out for a solid minute at this point in time. Every time we switch back to him, he's still there. This is exactly what you want. He's able to read where everyone is, all because of their heartbeats. That's how that cardiac sensor works. If you want to know if your girlfriend does not have a heart, you can always just use a cardiac sensor. It'll help you out. Make sure you can get rid of her early on inside of the relationship instead of letting things go on. MIBR, though, so far on this defense, making things work. Out of Toxic Babes is Hugzor. He's actually going to light up Bosco just a little bit, but it's going to be Navi's capitalized first. As it trades ensue, though, MIBR's on top, 4-2 right now. 15 seconds, Nitro Cell goes off. Not going to kill anybody. Rampy and Thinking Nate have a lot to work to do. Thinking Nate starts us off, though. Almost equalizing here, looking for another one, but that's going to be Diffuser down inside of Dining. Rampy smashes through the wall into China, but it doesn't happen. MIBR win round 8.
Rampy trying to do his best towards the end of the round, but unfortunately the play just coming in far too late, and more importantly, far too detached from Thinking Nate's own push, which had happened a few seconds earlier. SSG on these first 2 rounds really struggling to get the whole squad together to commit themselves into the site, with especially the example being of that most recent round. And it makes sense, as it is going to lead the team into a timeout. Things are starting to get very, very messy here for SSG, and they're not really giving themselves a whole lot of rounds to try and bring this back under their own control. Need to take the pause now. Need to figure out what's going wrong. That early round, the team remaining so detached, taking so long to clear out the early roaming presence, and oftentimes still getting caught, still losing 1 to 2 players or taking massive amounts of damage. On top of that, the site executes. Really hit or miss right now, just ending up in a massive amount of trades between both teams, with, at the moment, MIBR ending up on top of it far more times than not.
MIBR is doing a great job of slowing down SSG on their offensive pushes, especially with that top hold that they had. It took a very long time for SSG to try and set up and get any sort of aggression in on that top sector of the map. And that's more than likely what Lycan is talking about right now. It's what he needs to fix. Otherwise, it's going to be very troublesome for them. Perfectly placed time out. They're not at match point yet. SSG can still bring this back, win it in 7-5 fashion, but they have a lot of fixing to do. MIBR has gotten a lot of opening kills. They've gotten both opening kills, actually, on their defensive half thus far. Navi's having both of them. So, for MIBR, stick to the same thing and to see if SSG can actually fix their problems. Because right now, what you're doing is fantastic. I love the pickup of the Kapkan as well. We saw Space Station use that once already. Give them some of their own medicine.
In the next round we go, MIBR are going to try and get themselves a living room defense this time. They're looking to set themselves up on a mat point. If they can claim this one, would be 6-3. 3-round advantage going into the favor of MIBR. Right now it's just 2 though, and Space Station still has a chance to get back in as a result of that. We'll have to hope that that tactical pause yielded the strat that they need, and most importantly, fix the issues that they are running into. Otherwise, MIBR, in my opinion at least, is still expected to control this. Got the Goyo in play once more, been a very popular operator so far at this event. He's setting up those 3 shields, and of course, fourth one that may be present here as well. Nope, just going to be the 3, actually, excuse me.
Well, still has one ED, oh not EE1D, EDD. We have so many names for things in this game. EDD inside of Kapkan's hand that he can possibly place down, and that's going to be a time waste. SSG focusing on the northeast side of the map. That'll be where the attack starts from as they drone things out. And then finally, Space Station gets the first kill of the round. Navi is the one who's been getting all those first bloods, actually gets first blooded by Bosco. That was the gentleman that he killed in the very first round of their defense. Breach around goes off, but Cyber's already been droned out as well from the drone inside of Master. He's going to have to play this very slow here and try and back out methodically, otherwise he'll bump into Thinking Nade as he's already worked his way inside of Study.
A lot of forward momentum being made specifically towards Statuary, as you said, pushing players further back into Aviation and Study. They'll check out the Kapkan trap, that EDD sitting right next to the door. So hopefully the team won't get tripped up by that. Remember, that's about 50 HP that goes away if you run into one of those. You do need to hit 2 to be fully killed, but even the loss of just the 50 HP puts you at a massive disadvantage in any one gunfight that you'll end up in later on in the round.
Well, half ults for flank watch here. We don't have Nomad any longer. Thinking Nade back on the Thatcher for the time being, at least. Just going to try and get rid of some more of those electrical devices, and there's quite a bit of them for him. Navi's already died earlier on, so not too many goo mines to worry about, but obviously still a ton of electronic equipment on the field. Maybe getting aggressive towards bus door, almost bags himself one, but backs off the angle. Masterful work in this gunfight, yes, absolutely. Cyber's getting aggressive though. Rampy has to read into this, and he doesn't. Rampy not ready, but Cyber definitely was. Hugzord gets one for his troubles as well. MIBR taking control of round 9 with only a minute and 10 seconds left.
And once again, SSG getting tripped up by heads-up play from MIBR that they are not scouting or not properly checking for. Bosco, though, gives himself a little bit of that as he runs out into the open, getting himself the frag on Cyber at 90. Bullet still waiting at the top of main stairs, though, checking between these 2 angles, left and right and left again, hoping to try and get one. He will be scanned out, though, nearly caught, but no! Makes it over the banister, back downstairs, but there's players waiting for him. There's top-down destruction already done in order to catch these guys off as they commit to the rotate. One will go down and get killed, but M-King still stays alive.
Bosco not having any more scans, or couldn't exactly scan those feet. We don't exactly know. Bosco with a quad kill, though. And this is what we needed from SSG. We've needed them to warm up. Can he get the ace? It's all left down to Hugzord in this 1 versus 3. And this could get his team to match point here. Oh, map point, excuse me. Diffuser going down on the other side, so he's going to have to challenge through. Oh, and it's going to be the ace from Bosco and SSG. But they'll pop off just yet. Still have a long road ahead of them to try and bring things back here on Villa.
Bosco waking up there for at least 1 round as they finally resurgence and bring themselves back into it. Remember, that's off the merits of mainly just 1 player. So trying to repeat that is going to be very difficult, if not impossible, especially now that we'll be playing onto a different site, different strategy completely. A little bit indecisive from MIBR in terms of where they wanted to go. Just a quick little misvote, I think, in terms of where they initially wanted to take it, as they were going to go over towards Trophy, but now have switched it to Aviator instead.
I really like this lineup that SSG is bringing. It played masterfully into what MIBR had planned. Granted, it did come down to a lot of heavy lifting from Bosco, but it still worked. For MIBR, no real line adjustments here for them. Obviously, we're going to drop a couple of the more meanie picks. We're not going to have the Kapkan. We're still going to have the Goyo, but Goyo was already taking quite a bit of HP damage there. I'm going to assume he walked in front of a shotgun while it was making a rotate hole. That's not the most fun, and since there isn't a dock, MK will be stuck at 50 HP for the remainder of the round. We're back inside of Planes and Games. MIBR's shield setup can definitely work here for them. I like how they're using these Goyo shields as well. They're set up in a lot of areas to be able to play off of for gunfights, as well as having double duty, being able to be exploded and waste some time. Partner that with Hugzord, and you have 60 seconds of denial per space, which is truly impressive. Each one of the smoke grenades is 30. Combined, obviously, each taking 10. Same for the Goyo shields, they're each 10 seconds each. So, quick math, you got 60. There you go. For Navi's, though, have been having a pretty good game thus far. Didn't have the opening frag the last time. He's gotten both of the opening frags for them before that, though. Bosco being the only one to have the opening frag thus far for the offense, and that was that ace that you guys saw the last round.
Continuing up here, SSG going to take control towards Study first. Prioritizing that and trying to go for potentially the more standard route of execution on this site. They may still try to get 1 or 2 players in on master side, or at least in position at red steps to try and swing up, take a little bit more control. But MIBR has a lot of roam presence. We talked quite a bit about how this has tripped up SSG because they've tried to go for full map clears more often than not when going against this type of site. And oftentimes they've lost multiple players, so potentially taking a more direct route to the site may play better into SSG's favor, because once again, if you look towards the actual executes, those more often than not have been relatively even trades at the end of the day, and oftentimes, more often than not, I should say, a lot of the end round situation is coming down to who succeeded more in the early round, and that for the most part has been MIBR here. SSG trying to kind of eliminate a lot of the early round aspects from this round right now, and go right from the site, it seems.
SSG getting a lot of pressure with the Jackal, as we've seen in prior rounds. Haven't used it just yet in this one. You have pretty good drone work, though, as that's going to be a Goyo going off on the top of main stairs. Navi's down low. He could be instrumental to this round as he flanks through mud, but this is already 2 early SSG kills. Navi gets one for his pleasure, though. Bosco down inside of red hallway. So it means no more Jackal, no more foot tracking. So Navi's practically free to do what he wants to do instead of, except for a direct flank onto the main stairs, which Space Station currently has watched. MIBR watching the bottom of it through the bar angle. So plenty of drones to be used here for SSG as they're trying to get some more intel. They'll get intel onto 2 people inside of site. That's very important. Don't know if we have any frag grenades on Rampy that he could possibly use. A little bit of damage happening to Canadian now, though. I'm going to assume that has to be a Toxic Babe or something of the sort. No Maestro in play, so our destruction goes off now as they have the wall open, and what a shot from Hugzord as he lays Canadian out inside a Study. All of a sudden, it's 3 versus 3 as Navi rotates into 90. Last Toxic Babe gets expended from Hugzord. Very low HP now. They need to make this work. This execute needs to go off flawlessly, otherwise they're in big trouble. They knew Hugzord was in behind the bar. They kill him as well. Navi's with 1. He needs to get the last 2 remaining or delay some time. It's a swing from the dash. That's going to be the diffuser, actually. He's got to swing for the last one. He pre-fires, and Navi's, oh my, what a way to get to the last round on a map.
Navi's with some excellent heads-up play, but at the same time, SSG taking contact so haphazardly, giving him those individual 1v1s that he needed to clutch it out. Big mistakes being made by the North American roster right now to set MIBR up at map point here on map number 1 of the series. SSG now 2 behind, need to win the next 2 without dropping a single one, and that's going to be difficult. We've rarely seen that here from SSG, if at all, so far over the course of this map. So let's find out if they can get it done. We're going down to dining room and kitchen for our next site defense here, played by MIBR. A similar lineup coming to the table once again.
I'm so ready to hear what the analysts have to say about this map. I'm so serious. There's been so many little things that have turned rounds into just huge wins for MIBR. Space Station seems to be lacking as well today. We're not seeing as much of an impactful presence from their fraggers, and I really think that that is the main thing for them. You see Foltz has fallen off, Rampy not going nearly as nuclear as he had been. The only player right now in double digits, as we're at double-digit rounds, is Bosco, so a little bit above average when it comes to that. Usually the consistency you want to stick with is 1 kill per round. If each person gets 1 kill per round, Blue, did you know you won the video game?
Yeah.
That's crazy how that works, huh?
Right?
Yeah. So a KPR of 1 is right where you want to be at. Bosco above average for the time being.
It's a team game, really. So
yeah, and that's why kills don't mean, you know, the world either. You know, we talk back and forth about stats and how kills matter sometimes, but they don't really matter, and that's Siege for you. It's just confusing when it comes down to it with a lot of these things.
Kills only matter if you win the round. Hot take.
I mean, yeah. That's literally it. Kills only matter if you win the round. You can get a quad kill and your team can still throw, and those 4 kills mean literally nothing.
You got the quad, but at the cost of like baiting for your teammates.
But what did it cost? Everything.
That's not a great round ultimately for your team. It's a great round for you, but you know, you still lost the round.
Maybe you should have just killed the last guy. Been better at the game.
Just click the head.
Just click the head. Well, Space Station going to be making quick work of round 11 here.
Bosco's going to click the body against Hugs.
Yeah, it clicks the body instead. Still works. Bullets still make impact. People still die, just like Bosco. M King with a nice read. 7-1 and 7 currently. And again, that is a huge kill. Not having Jackal in the field very early on makes it to where you can't have nearly as much pressure as you'd like for free. It's literally Jackal living rent-free inside of the minds of the defense. That's what it is.
At the same time, Space Station, specifically it was Canadian, picking up that trade there a moment ago and being able to eliminate Hugs. That's the smoke being knocked out of the equation and a potential extra 30 to 40 seconds of safe execute time going into Space Station's bank. Normally, with the smoke still alive, you have to start the execute at about 45 seconds or risk just getting, you know, waited out. Oh my God, Rampy going off right now as well. Beautiful shot against Cyber to find the second pickup. But anyway, with the smoke still standing, it can usually delay the attackers by a good 30 to 40 seconds if the smoke gas grenades are played properly. Without that in play, SSG can take their good old time and run all the way down to about 15, 20 seconds. Even so now, with just Bullet alive, getting that plant onto the ground is not a problem for the team at all. Bullet is left alone, and even worse, he's pinched out, has no safe region to push this. He's going to try to swing in, but ultimately will fall to Rampy as he gets his next kill on the round, shutting out Bullet and giving SSG the first out of 2 that they need to take this to OT.
Very important round here for SSG as they're in hot water on Villa. To round 12 we go. They need this round in order to force us into overtime. MIBR, though, definitely not slacking. Still showing up, still playing very well into these trades. For SSG, I want to see Bosco stay alive just a little bit longer. We haven't seen him be too impactful over these last couple of rounds, all except for obviously that ace that he had 2 rounds prior. That was round 9 there for you. Bosco got the opening kill on the last 2 rounds, but as we saw, some quick kills and a 1v3 for Nobbies made things very difficult in the round prior. This one, though, he was able to get traded out. MIBR failing to hold down Kitchen. Now we're going to Trophy Statuary, though, where we're going to have an Ella played by Bullet. Ella, an operator, has been changed recently, and that Scorpion back to being a lot of fun to use. Very good weapon. They adjusted the first 16 bullets inside of the magazine to where they have less recoil. So the gun's usable, which means Ella, for all intents and purposes, is great again. She has a shield and her Grismot mines, and it looks like they're going to do an extended hold here inside of planes with her, which could definitely work. Those Grismot mines help out so much with your gunfights. It makes it to where you can't sprint, makes it where you can't see very well, and the biggest piece of the puzzle for those, it slows down your sensitivity.
5 seconds to go. SSG coming out onto the board once again for the final round of regulation. Bosco still on the Jackal, looking to limit that roaming possession from MIBR that has been so prevalent. And unfortunately for Bosco, has been knocking him out more often than not. Just going to bring his drone back real quick before he rejoins the rest of the team in their push up towards the master balcony. 3 of them going directly for it. We'll see in a second if Bosco's going to join the rest of the crew here.
Drone is ready to go.
Space Station is 3 for 3 in the last 3 rounds on opening kills. They've all been Bosco, so we'll see if he can go for 4 here. Spacestation Gaming, focused on Master. This is a very traditional way of handling this site. Get inside a Master, try to get the wall open. They do have impact set up, as well as a castle barricade, so you can't watch the breach from that side. And that's what Fultz and the rest of SSG are going to get rid of first. Drones still circling around. Oh, there's actually a rotate that they have established through the wall to get into Master. So that's a very, very important piece of the defense for MIBR. We actually have M-King inside of the closet as well. So a ton of rotates set up here for MIBR with these Goyo shields. Very aggressive Goyo setup. The issue is now, though, is exactly that. No ADS's setup means that you can bounce a frag grenade inside of this closet. They now have control of that with free access into bathroom. Navi's looking to go flying almost, it seems, as he gets very aggro towards the window on Astronomy.
Very utility-focused execution right now from SSG, and it is paying out in dividends with the free elimination of M-King. That is more likely going to go another 30 seconds or more without being traded here. MIBR is going to have to maintain with a -1 man disadvantage. Rest of the team for Space Station looking to set themselves up to move in here relatively soon as well. Thinking Nade may be one of the first to do that, but never mind. He's going to swing into a new position and move himself up on the rappel against the Astro Stairs window. Rampy, in the meanwhile, has got walk-in control, just taking out that last castle barricade, blocking his way into Master Bedroom, and will now go back to the drone as the rest of his team commits themselves to the push. MIBR pretty much silent right now in their movement, at least when it comes to the second floor hold. Not wanting to take any chances if they have a choice in the matter, but soon their hand is going to be forced with the execute that is soon to come in. You can see Hugs are going to try to swing around, but no, he'll never right against the thermite charge. Ends up having to take the fight right from the bat. Will he be able to get the kill against Rampy? Not so easily, and now the fight gets turned back around. It's Rampy instead that wins it. Navi's will be able to trade from the inside of Astro, though, taking out Canadian a second later. Looking for another pickup as well. He eliminates Thinking Nade. Was also going to be pinched out by Bullet a moment later anyway. Space Station getting incredibly low on time to make this work, but Bosco finds himself another pickup against Cyber. Bullet looking to hold against the bathroom play. He's spotted out 2 of his opponents moving their way in, but Navi's gets caught on the lurk. Bullet is now left alone in the 1v3. 7 seconds left to get the plant. Bullet finds a very important kill, opening up the master angle, but no! He'll be shut down seconds later by Bosco, and Space Station will trigger OT by tying us up at 6-6.
Such an impressive round from SSG to break down that strat. Extremely aggressive Goyo setup there from MIBR, thinking way outside of the box, holding down Master with a rotate made through the triple panel, having someone play the Master walk-in closet. There was a lot of moving parts there for MIBR. It just did not stunt enough of SSG. There was so much focus on the main site that they really didn't have anyone focused over towards 90. Bosco works his way over, gets onto site, able to find those initial kills that they really, really needed. Now for that round, SSG got the opening frag once again. Rampy was able to pick that up. But for MIBR, since this was their map choice, they're able to pick the OT side, and they're going to go with offense, which throughout their entire offensive side, they only dropped 3 rounds. So depending on the site, we could see a very, very good OT here from MIBR. Playing into the games in plain sight, though, they actually ended up losing it. That was the only time that SSG defended it, and it was, relatively speaking, the exact same lineup. Instead of the Echo, though, they have Legion in place, which Canadian's been playing with a mixture of Pulse, for the most part, and Echo.
10 seconds to insertion.
And away from that now, once again, MIBR back on the attacking side, looking to take the W against Space Station. Take a look at how Space Station is going to look to play their early round, whether they'll pull that back as well, because remember, Space Station was having similar issues in the early round with largely the same thing, just not being ready for more unpredictable play, more aggressive style play that we were seeing from MIBR. These are things that wouldn't be easily spotted by just camera checks and good map knowledge by Space Station, and it was more often than not tripping them up in the early round and costing them man advantage. We'll see if MIBR is just going to go right back to using the same strategies to leverage that advantage over SSG, and more importantly, whether they've learned their lesson from regulation.
MIBR going for, relatively speaking, the same clear that they went for on their last offensive half. They're going to be pressuring from the north to the south. Nice little clear, get a Claymore on the staircase. That's what Bullet's going to do, open up the hatch to make sure they can look down for any flanks, or just rotate a little bit quicker with a different means of travel. For Navi, though, he's more than likely going to be going to the 90 window. We've seen him go here quite often throughout this entire series. He's currently 15-1-9, so the guy is definitely shooting straight today.
Navi's trying to swing his way up on top. Spam coming out from him to hopefully catch someone that may be over-aggressing down the 90 hallway, but not going to be the case. As you can see, movement is at a dead silent pace inside of this hallway. Bullet, regardless, is going to move in and use one of his stun charges, which will get burned out by an ADS. Would not have really connected onto anything regardless, so nothing really lost there, except for, well, the utility itself. Minute and a half remaining. Again, MIBR, this has been the case for most of their attacking side as well. It's making really good time on the attack itself. But yet to really get any type of site control going. Thankfully, like I said, they have plenty of excess time to deal with this. There is that bulletproof sitting at the end on top of the bookcase, which is going to, unfortunately, cause a bit more trepidation for MIBR on executes. And there's the reason why. We'll see Navi's get picked off when he tries to lean around the corner. Fultz will maintain, keep himself in the fight. Bullet, however, did not get completely dropped. They're trying to see if they can find them through the drone hole, but it's not going to be the easiest thing to spot out. So Navi's ultimately will get brought back from the grave, back up at 20 HP, and still in this fight at a full-on 5v5 with less than a minute remaining.
Another frag grenade down, might have killed that drone for MIBR. Very minimal time to make this execute work. Everyone currently sitting on the northern side of the site. Canadian, though, on the top of main stairs, Rampy inside of Study, but he's going for a super aggressive peek, and he will get one right outside. That's Hugzord, hard breach down, thinking nade attack on as well. Cyber finally getting a frag for MIBR. They're working their way in, but more toxic babes begin to pour through. Only 15 seconds. This execute needs to happen now. They might have to go through the smoke. Last one expended right at 10 seconds. They're gonna have to find a different means to get into sight. Thinking nade and Fultz to capitalize, and Space Station Gaming take the lead after quite a long time of not having it.
Great control over the situation from SSG, and most importantly, crucial areas of the map there like Study and top stair control that never really end up shifting into MIBR's control, and at that point are used by Space Station in order to maintain easier control to win out the round. We will end up with a pause now, more than likely coming in from the MIBR camp. They're at the gates of a loss. After doing so much good work early on in this map, they have slowly but surely lost their momentum after getting to that 6th round and have been unable to close out, with SSG finally reading into their own errors and correcting them.
MIBR a little slow to the punch there that time. They needed to get towards site so they could try and burn some more utility. The hard breach just not working out for them very, very well. SSG had all of the control of site, and this is a perfectly planned timeout. MIBR was able to keep it throughout the entire series, and you don't want to go all the way through this without using that timeout. Use your timeouts per maps, folks, unless obviously it's going to be a 7-0 or like a 7-3, then obviously the offense or whoever's winning doesn't really need that. But perfectly planned here for MIBR. Make sure you burn that, especially in these very not volatile, but what would you even describe this as? Is this time very high tension?
Yeah, very. You could say volatile.
Words.
Volatile works.
Words. Does volatile work? I don't feel like
so.
I don't feel like it does. I feel like tension is just better.
Attackers need to locate.
I don't know. I missed the rest of your sentence, to be honest. I don't really know the context to begin with.
Even John doesn't care what I have to say, Chad.
Well, we are going to see MIBR as they take the defensive side for the first time here in OT. They're also going to go back to Aviation and Games, and if you're sitting there getting confused to yourself, well, wait, didn't we just play on that? Yeah, we did, but the teams have switched, which means, again, those site locks get reset. Now, if MIBR wins this and Space Station goes back to the defense, the site locks will carry over from the previous time they played it, so they won't be able to play in this site again. They'll have to play either in Aviation Games, or excuse me, they'll have to play either in Trophy Statuary or one of the 2 downstairs sites.
Okay, well, MIBR, as you just said, going back to the same site, already accounted for the holes that they've made in the flooring as well, and that's why Navi is going to be downstairs. Make sure to try and get rid of that hard destruction once they put it on. They do have that Thinking Aid on the Thatcher once again, and Space Station Gaming definitely knows what those holes mean. Somebody's going to be playing down low. Bosco's going to go roam hunting, though. He is the Jackal. Already has some drones downstairs. That's why he's waiting outside of the door to make sure that everything is clear. Drones in front of him. They've droned out most of the basement. Rampy's worked his way in. They're going for a full roam clear here. Space Station does not want to have somebody flank them late and punish them for negligence.
Rampy working his way up from the basement now, all the way in from backstairs. Waiting to see if anybody from MIBR, again, if he might get lucky in all reality here and catch someone, as I don't think they have the best drone intel moving forward from that position. Bosco in a similar spot. Man, look at how quiet it is right now. It's very rarely you're going to see attackers being that quiet in their approach.
So very quiet, Blue. I feel like we're both hunting.
I was getting worried for a second that something went wrong there.
Can't talk too loud, you'll disturb the defense. Hold on. Jackal tracks coming out now. Jackal dancing back and forth on the wall, some soft destruction. Jackal pings still continuing as Jackal comes to assist the sledge of Rampy. That's going to be Bosco once again, working his way up. Some more foot marks over by the door. No soft destruction there as they're continuing to try and get these roamers out from underneath. Only halfway through the round now, though. It feels like it's been eternity, but Cyber's going to make the first move, and Bosco with the first kill once again. He's been so dangerous from this offensive side with this Jackal. It's really starting to pay off.
SSG now with that man advantage, they're going to take it further. They are going to pop open the rest of the soft destruction. There's still another player from MIBR waiting on the other side of that, though. They'll have to be careful of, and that hasn't been checked right now. It's Navi's. Look at the play right now being made by him. 2 players down to the grave. Shoddy, both of them. You deserve it. Nicely played by Navi's. Beautiful mastery of the situation, and now the round's been turned on its head. Space Station sit at the disadvantage. The good news, though, they still have right around a minute left to correct this.
Well, Bullet's going to find a kill right as the time being. So Canadian and Fultz find 2, though. All of a sudden down into 2 versus 2. 2 of the most recent players to join SSG. We tell you guys the legacy roster a little bit earlier on here. Fultz working his way up red stairs. Canadian, not very much HP, so probably not the best idea if they do split up. Want to try and play for these trades. Going to pop a Goyo shield off. Canadian's worked his way on through the outside of the map. Looks like they might be going for break room here. M-King specifically on MIBR. One more impact, but he's going to throw it towards Study. That's going to be a down. Canadian has to try for it all, and he can't get it. He can still pick himself up, but it's going to be a pistol bullet to equalize, and MIBR pushes Villa to the absolute brink.
M-King once again coming out huge for the squad with the hold on the Shoddy, along with the pistol to finish things off, of course. Once again, yeah, really have to give credit to Navi's for that mid-round play that turned the round back against itself. It seemed like Space Station were going to have the control needed to swing themselves upstairs and then take the site away. Navi's goes unnoticed in that tiny little corner where he's able to get the free double kill that goes untraded for pretty much the entire round after that. Into dining room and kitchen. Once again, interesting site choices being made here considering what's available for SSG. This is where they're going to choose to end the map. They still have trophy and statuary as an option as well, but along with living room, but they're going to choose to go here instead.
Exact same setup for their dining room defense. The last time that they brought Bandit with a similar lineup, they brought it on living room library, which might be kind of a throw to think MIBR is going to attack that site, but some drones will fix that problem very early on here. Navi's 17 and 11 right now. Only person close to him on SSG is Bosco. Bosco's really been lighting things up throughout Villa thus far. Super impactful, but no matter what, whoever wins this round wins Villa. Will it be SSG or will MIBR in Brazil still have some hopes alive here? Obviously, we do still have Ninjas in Pajamas as well. Those are the 2 LATAM representatives. Ninjas in Pajamas not having the best time earlier today, though, as they lost their match.
5 seconds to go.
A few more seconds till MIBR is out onto the field once again. See how specifically the setup is looking right now for SSG. That's what I'm trying to pay close attention to. Because once again, when they have played more spread out setups, that's usually been where MIBR has been able to take control because of their good drone work along with very fast play in the early round to follow that up and pick up kills against SSG when they're not expecting it. Got a couple of players from SSG that were exposed upstairs trying to hold on to defend it. This is not necessarily out in the open, though. This is much more normal for defense on this site. So still kind of what you expect to see. But once again, those players are also a little bit far out on an island, so if MIBR is able to pinch their positions, they could find themselves dead relatively quickly.
MIBR will get a drone in down low, looking for Big Bad Nadian, and Big Bad Nadian they will find, but this time he's on site. He's not playing downstairs, doesn't want to deal with that entire mess that happened the last time. Navi's is on a one-man mission, though, to get inside of Pantry. This could be very pivotal if he's able to find his way inside. Fultz with the first kill, though, with the gun that apparently can't kill people. He kills Cyber. Bullet trades it back immediately, though, onto Thinking Nate. Again, not going to be too impactful. Cyber actually being the more impactful death here. No more soft destruction that can decimate that entire flooring here. Well, Navi's now knows that he has been cardiac censored, so he's going to work his way downstairs as soon as somebody's flanking. He would absolutely be correct. Fultz down low with the UM45. Definitely doesn't want to take this gunfight against that R4C. The gun's still very, very dangerous. Back on drone now, though. Trying to bait Fultz, but he's having none of it. A lot of time waste here for Space Station in this engagement.
Navi's just waiting for the edge to be taken against Canadian, considering how low his HP is right now. Just a sliver of health remaining in this situation, but remember, he's not the one playing into the basement right now. It's Fultz looking to take the duel against him. It's going to be a different player that's in the site, and that's Canadian himself, Fultz, with him holding the stairs. Navi's, however, going to hunt down Fultz right now, trying to isolate him. The gun sound could be throwing them off, making him think that the pulse is actually in the basement, when in reality it is going to be the castle that they're playing against here. But I'm sure that they've figured that out with the drone presence that they have established for themselves. In the meanwhile, the stairs wooden barricade is going to be opened, and they will work on opening up the wall in the kitchen with more direct access from those back stairs to let Bullet and the team move through. 40 seconds though, and MIBR still a little bit timid about this due to how little they've been able to clear against SSG. But here comes the pinch hug, starting things off well by being able to finally isolate out Canadian and eliminate him.
It's going to be very troublesome for Space Station Gaming. Fultz gets another kill, though, with the UM45. That's double for him on the round. M-King frags back, though. Still in man advantage. Need to put this diffuser down. Bullet currently has it as he'll begin the plant. MIBR is all over the side as he continues to shoot through random walls. Yokai drone up. Oh, no, but it doesn't stick. Can he get another kill? This is so very important. He goes for the knife. That's Fultz on a triple kill for the round. The diffuser goes down. Oh, no. It's all left up to Bullet as his teammate will be fragged. Rampy and Fultz both have nice angles. Works his way out. It's going to be another sonar blast from the Yokai. They know where he's went, and that's going to be the kill. SSG finds their way through Villa.
SSG with a great comeback here. The fuse just seconds away, and they will claim it as they take control 8-7 on map number 1. 1-0 advantage now in their pocket with just one more map away from being able to move further into the upper bracket semis and knock their opponent down further below. A hard-fought victory indeed for SSG, but they will take it, adjusting from their mistakes in the earlier rounds on the map. Be able to take the win here. Map 2 right around the corner, though, so no time to celebrate just yet. It's time to refocus and prep back up to get ready to jump back into the game in just a few minutes.
MIBR just too antsy when it came down to it, especially with that aggressive play onto Fultz. They felt like they needed the frag in that instance, but honest to God, they really didn't. All they had to do was make sure that he could not get access to the kitchen. A little bit of overcompensation, begs him a kill. A heck of a nice shot here from Navi's, but overall a great showing. We have some beautiful people on a desk and a beautiful man leading them. Let's toss over to them and see what they have to think about.
Stokes, you're the beautiful one, okay? But thank you, Stokes and Blue. That was a fantastic game. MIBR just one round away from stealing that from Space Station Gaming, but you know what? It was the big man himself. It was Bosco leading the way. Bosco. Round number 9, Bosco. He got the second ace that SSG had in this event, and how big of a factor was he in this matchup?
I mean, absolutely. He is such a good Jackal main, and the one time he seemed to get shut down, it was just due to a slight peek while he's scanning footprints. The man knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
You don't shut him down, you're getting shut down.
Now, the sad thing was Space Station Gaming, they were getting kind of beat down a little bit by MIBR, but once he got that ace, Rampy started to wake up. You saw folks in that last round. How important is it that Space Station Gaming, they continue to fire off on all cylinders rather than depend on one guy to keep the game close?
I mean, that was the recipe to actually make it work, and it does help a little bit when you have a guy like Bosco who does not want to lose this game. I mean, I think the best example of that was this very round right here. Bosco's ability to push a flank up from the landing side from red stairs. He was the instrumental part of that attack, finding so many early picks and even locking it out, preventing that retake at the end. So, and that sent it to overtime as well. That was the recipe that got Space Station in a winnable position here.
So talking about how Bosco set the tone for Space Station Gaming, how about the tone for the matchup in general? You said a lot about whenever a team got an opening kill, they held on to that advantage and they kept that win.
There was 2 round exceptions throughout the entire match where the opening kill did not decide who won that round. It was definitely down to, I got the opening pick, I got man advantage, especially against LATAM teams who can be very strong with man advantage. You get that opening pick on them, they start to lose strength. But it also matters too because we talked a lot about Bosco, but Navi's was on fire for MIBR.
Yeah, Navi's actually had a 1v3 clutch in round 9, and that was a big weakness we saw in Space Station Gaming. In order for Space Station to get control of the bar area, they pushed in with numbers because they learned 1v1. They're going to lose against this MIBR team unless somebody pops off. But then they all chase Navi's into 90 and they all die.
Yeah, that was a huge blunder. If only they'd stuck the diffuser and waited for Novus to push them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a risk either way, but I think they chose potentially the riskier option. But at the end of the day, we were at 7-7. This was the 15th round, and that's you can play for an hour and a half.
It's crazy.
In a match here, but it comes down to that last round. And honestly, we can talk about guys like Bosco, Rampy, but for me, Fultz won that last round. It was his ability to not get killed on the castle, keep pushing back. Canadian was giving him lots of information on the pulse and come for that really late flank. That was what locked out the game for Space Station.
Yeah, now a little bit about MIBR. If you guys thought that Canadian was popping off and going crazy in group stages, if you just heard the yells coming in from MIBR after every single win, it was deafening. How much did that passion help them out in fighting back against Space Station Gaming, and how much did it hurt them when they started losing rounds?
You could absolutely see it. You saw, for example, Cyber struggling until he got that 3K, then he carried that momentum forward. I mean, he still had to rely a lot on Navi's, but it's things like that. But you could also anticipate it. I was joking about it when we were watching that. If on match point they lost and had to go to overtime, then they were going to lose so much momentum. SSG then were going to be able to kind of silence them, and you could see it on their faces. You guys saw it during the tactical timeout. They lost momentum by not being able to close out. And we see that happen to teams. Canadians well familiar with that. What can happen when you have the momentum, you're on match point, and you just choke. I still think that could have been MIBR's map, but as you said, Fultz's play just delaying downstairs, but it's even small stuff, like the wooden barricades. Constantly announcing everywhere they're coming. You even saw it when he finally came up from pantry, had to Ash charge the pantry door, and that announced his presence as well. So overall, just a lot of smart plays by SSG, but that was as close as it gets.
That was a beautiful game. Now, speaking of smart and big brains, Dev, you have a pretty big brains. So Space Station Gaming won a map on MIBR's map pick. Now we're going to SSG's pick. How big is this going to be?
I mean, the context of that previous game, MIBR on paper should have been favored. I mean, they had the better result in the past. In the last 6 months, they've won it 4 times, lost it twice, and it's the reverse for SSG. In fact, last time, these guys played each other on this map, Villa, I'm still talking about Villa, in OGA Pit, and MIBR won that. So if SSG can come out of the gate and win that game, yeah, it was hard fought. That really sets the stage for going into SSG's own map pick.
Well said. So, ladies and gentlemen, you saw it. The Brazilians, MIBR, lost map number 1 just by 1 round. Let's see if the boys can come back against Space Station Gaming. Casters, take it away.
Thank you very much, Veli. And now it is time to move into map number 2. Border is the battleground for it. And the question is, can MIBR rally after a very, very upsetting defeat? Seemed like they had everything under control for the Villa match to go their way. Even a 6-4 lead at one point. Actually, even greater than that. I think it was at 6-3 at one point, actually. But unable to close out. And SSG ran the gauntlet in OT to bring themselves back under control. But at the same time, SSG also showing some issues throughout the course of their match. This series not yet secured for anyone. So let's find out who will take control. Will it continue onward for SSG to give them a 2-0 victory? Or will MIBR bounce back and send us onto our 3rd map? We're going to find out right now.
MIBR has the first of the bans, folks, so we'll see what they remove from Border. It's going to be the Buck, something that happens a lot inside of LATAM on this map. Buck is a pivotal operator when it comes to Border. So much soft destruction to be had on the map. You want to get him out early on. Space Station gets rid of Thatcher. Again, something that happens in LATAM a lot, but it's leaked over into the other regions. Just trying to make that hard breach a little bit harder. Now we're going to the defensive bans. These are moving very quickly. Mira, that's self-explanatory. You really don't even need that one. If you play Siege, you completely understand why. And then the last one from MIBR, more than likely going to be an Echo, I'm going to assume. No, we're actually going to get a Kaid ban, which actually is not a bad ban at all because Thatcher was banned. So it's something especially that happens inside of ranked a lot. Like, for instance, like Oregon. I know it's not inside the competitive map pool anymore, but hatches and stuff like that where it's very hard to get through when it's sitting on hard destruction flooring or permanent flooring. you can't shoot out those electro claws. It's very difficult to get to, and for this site in particular, or this map in particular, bandit batteries are a lot easier to find. So if you force people to play bandit batteries, you can just impact under them with a lifeline or breaching charges or what have you, in order to be able to have access to the wall. So those electro claws just a little bit more difficult to find. Want to make sure that the bandit batteries are in play instead.
MIBR does get the initial defensive start, and they're going to follow the usual trend of sites. Once again, as we have been explaining throughout the event, teams have been growing a little bit more confident going for off sites to start, just to throw off the comfortability factor that their opponents would normally have in a situation like this. But MIBR is not going to stray from the beaten path. They will instead jump right onto Armory Archives, which is where we see most teams start off on this map. Although, like I said, that has been shifting in recent times. That is, team skins are available. Feel free to buy those.
Oh yeah, definitely buy
Very
the
nice.
team skins.
I have that one. That one's really
they're so beautiful. They're so beautiful. Every single skin that we have in this game, esports-wise, is fantastic. I love all of them. Especially the charms. Our new charms, oh, they're sick, mate.
Why did you just turn into Australian? That's for a second.
It's a meme. I'll show you after. Trust. It's all for
We're not casting the Fnatic.
That'd be worse. Magnet would probably give me crap for my accent, to be completely honest with you. But no, we actually have glowy charms now, as opposed to what we had the previous year, where we didn't have the nice bloom effect charms. So thank you, Ubisoft, for making those happen. SSG, though, on border, they've banned it 9 times in the past, 5-0-1 record in the last 6 months. So we'll see if they're able to keep a positive record here, or if that will actually end up pushing us to a map 3. They're going to start on offense as well. This is their map choice against this squad. Foltz running the G36C angled grip ACOG combo, trying to get that ADS time down as low as it can possibly get.
Bosco, a lineup just a little bit too slow to react. Catch the peek from his opposing teammate, or his opponent's, excuse me. His opponent's swing from the other side. Rampy putting himself into a dangerous spot. I'm not sure if he saw the movement from Navi's to get himself underneath the half wall. The drone also doesn't go deep enough to catch it. Bosco trying to get on an alternate angle to potentially catch that player, so they're definitely aware of it. Still having to be very cautious about the movement right now. Navi's is going to be knocked out in the meanwhile with a move from Foltz. He even tries to spam in through the softball in the workshop to catch a second. Although that's going to be a miss. Either way, though, advantage to Space Station to start the round off. A little bit of damage going on to Hugs here, too. And now completing the job as Foltz once again moving forward, confirming the kill onto the enemy smoke.
This is so dangerous for MIBR. Look at how Space Station is cutting up these maps, and they're not going through traditional avenues. Usually Foltz would try and go in through square and take that gunfight in focus, but instead he makes a breaching hole into customs and works his way in through there. They're trying to handle the map as quickly as possible to get down to the wall. They already got 2 kills and 2 major components of this defense. They're both going to be on cam duty for the rest of the round. But now SSG has to try and get into CCTV, and we can see that MIBR members are still inside. We saw them in prep phase set up a deployable shield in here as well. So they have a pretty good bunker setup for the time being.
Rampy just finishing the opening of the 2 east door barricades real quick here. Default cam's already been dealt with. Over the top right corner there. They'll move into position relatively quickly too. Scout out for his team here to make sure that they're going to be able to try and get that east wall open. That's definitely been the preferred strat, I think, of a lot of the NA teams so far at this event, is to move in through office and archives instead of trying to deal with the armory wall, which often can be stalemated pretty indefinitely throughout the round. Not to mention the fact that we do not have a buck in play currently, and that makes dealing with the armory wall that much more difficult.
Bosco very smart with his utility. When you shoot those arrows against the wall, they fall down to the ground. But Bullet even smarter. Hops radio window could go for broke here. Tries for it, doesn't get too much. They now have control of archives as they go for the plant. Rampy gets a kill inside of Beepers. It's all left up to Bullet, and they know that he's inside of offices. Rotates towards radio window, going into the rotate inside of archives. Do they know that he's here now, though, or do they think he's on rotate? Diffuser is down on the back of archives. Kills Rampy as he hops mini, has one on his AC as well, as all of SSG is entangled inside of the site. Upside down rappel now, though, on the radio window. Could be everything that they need. Bullet's looking for one. Oh, lights him up on radio, but it's going to be enough finally after Canadians max out on his...
magazine expenditure.
No, it wasn't even that. He got like locked in because like you can't turn full on rappel. It's a very weird thing to describe, but I don't even really think that happened. It was actually his full magazine being dumped.
Yep.
He just got very static there for a second, so I assumed it locked.
A little fidgety on the spray, but does end up getting the kill at the end of the day.
That's all that matters.
and secures the round in the 4v1. Clean execute as well, which is what's important right now, I think, for SSG, considering what had been happening before. But the real test of that is not going to come in now. That's more so going to be something that we'll see from their defensive half. MIBR, though, thinking that they were close enough, are going to double down on this upstairs site.
Space Station, again, you have to commend them for how quickly they were able to handle this map. I think we're going to be seeing this throughout their entire offensive side, to be completely honest with you. MIBR is going to continue to have roamers, so you're going to have to continue to see Space Station clear them out, otherwise risk a nitro cell. We saw that come back to bite often inside of the G2 versus Reciprocity game, where G2 won a lot of rounds they shouldn't have just because they were able to rotate downstairs and get kills on people putting diffusers down. And that came back to bite Reciprocity later on as well with some pesky yokai drones. So Space Station doesn't want to fall into the same trap. Make sure that they clear out those basements, make sure they clear out those nitro cells when they go for this diffusal plant. Although for MIBR, I really don't like that they had Hugzord on roam there. I think that's the wrong person to obviously have on roam. If they had Toxic Babes in that last round, they definitely could have tried to stunt that plant from going down for Space Station inside of Archives. You'd much rather see Cyber or Bullet downstairs with Nobbies instead of having Hugzord, the man with some of the most important utility on the defense, downstairs.
It's not the first time that's happened either. They lost their smoke early in the round, and quite a few of them back on Villa as well.
Very pivotal operator.
Incredibly important. One yokai drone, I believe that is. Oh, excuse me, not a yokai drone. Misidentified the silhouette. I saw like the little, like, square-looking thing. So,
trying to call him a blockhead?
So no, I meant on Rampy's scanner. He looked, I think it was an ADS. I think I just saw it from below in his reveal.
I believe it was an ADS as well. Yeah. But SSG going to start working their way inside. Rampy's coming inside of Passport. So uses sensor to make sure that nothing is above him. Another drone out, just going to make sure that the downstairs is clear, and that's going to be the first step. You guys saw all of the steps that they need to take the last round. Rampy's going to set up a breaching charge that he set earlier on. We don't exactly know where that is, but I'm sure we'll figure out here in just an instance. MIBR still has a setup inside of CCTV. I'm going to assume that it's the exact same setup they had the last time with the deployable shield. We'll see if Space Station actually plays into it this time. We didn't see that happen too much the last round.
Once again, Rampy moving around, trying to knock out utility. Every single one of those pings is a piece of electronics. You do have to kind of move around a little bit, though. Sometimes, yeah, this happens. It's a bit awkward. It's because there are metal bars behind all the wood paneling. That's so you can't just destroy the floor anywhere and drop down. And man, Rampy is really struggling. Let's shoot something else. And then, there you go. I think that was the original thing he was trying to shoot, and he finally knocks it out.
He got the Grishmot, tried to shoot that ADS, didn't work, went back, got the other ADS across the room, then went back and got another Grishmot. So 2 of the Grishmot mines from Ella are down now, as well as a Valkyrie cam from Nobbies. So CCTV has a blind eye, but still 2 people inside of it. Oh, Ella's gonna make a misstep here. Now she's stuck in between these 2 angles. SSG can capitalize on this quickly if they go for this attack. They're gonna need some help. Rampy works his way into break room. He knows he has one tight left here. He's waiting on the angle, sees him, but Jaeger doesn't reciprocate the exact same vision, and SSG floods the kill feed as they take out 3. Nobbies and M-King, the only stragglers on MIBR. Both inside of sight now as Nobby rotates into Archives. 26 seconds, but again, Space Station doing a great job of not losing too many people to make these executes happen. Bosco is the only dead person on the offense.
He's continuing to hunt down for himself here. Rampy, in the meanwhile, does get spotted out by a Valcam, which is successfully pushed by Nobbies. He gets a second, and M-King now finds a third. All of a sudden, the round's turning on its head again, down to a 1v1, though only 5 seconds remaining. Shots ringing out as Thinking Nate tries to hunt down the kill. So close, but he looks the wrong way, and MIBR take it off of a last-second mistake from their opponents.
That was truly impressive play there from MIBR. Instead of waiting inside of sight for SSG to go for the execute, they get aggressive, and it works out for them. Space Station Gaming had no idea that Valkyrie was going to play aggressive from that rotate hole inside of Archives, and that is what won them that round, as well as having a gun that has 81 bullets inside of it, but I feel like we harp on that quite often.
Navi's once again coming out big for his team. Had a similar situation happen when they misdroned and did not spot him after SSG was clearing out Library a few rounds ago back on Villa. He was able to swing around, already had soft destruction to look through onto the inside of the Art Vault, and then took out 2 players for free. Navi's is getting away with a lot right now and is becoming a huge thorn in the side of Space Station.
Well, he needs to continue that. Why is Space Station can continue to run this on down? MIBR getting away with a round that they really shouldn't have at the end of the day. Space Station had everything going for them in that 4 versus 2. MIBR able to bring it back. So some rotations now as everyone makes some reinforcements appear upstairs out of thin air. It's like magic. R6 magic, folks. We are also going to be reinforcing detention. No CCTV hold this time, but you really wouldn't want one on this site anyways. We've seen some extended holds, but instead they'll just dedicate a reinforcement to the hatch so you can't open it to watch the customs rotation downstairs. Thank you so much, Observer. Gratefully appreciate you.
Now who is it? That's the real test.
I don't want to take guesses.
Go ahead. I think they just
Marcio.
told you. Yeah, they just told you.
Marcio.
Don't tell them. I was testing
Marcio.
you.
It's Marcio. I was going to guess. See, it is Marcio. Yeah.
Production.
Yeah.
You broke the rules of the game.
No, that's not the rules of the game.
Stop worrying about grenades now.
No apologies needed. That's the rules. I had one phone a friend.
Bailing him out.
I had one phone a friend, and who wants to be
He's never going to pass high school this way.
I already passed high school, sir.
As far as the audience knows.
It's college where I dropped out, okay?
Hey, same. Well, moving forward with this round, Space Station are looking to set themselves up once again in the early round here. With a little bit of presence going to be going onto those vents windows, but not for quite a few moments here. MIBR in the meanwhile staying static for the most part as well in this early round situation. They've got a ping on to someone here sitting behind the armory wall, but not going to be any actual presence there from MIBR. There is a player at half wall, but that would be more something they'd have to open up the vents window to try and pop out.
Oh, almost a lineup there for Bosco. If someone chose to get aggressive onto vents window, but instead just find some safety in behind the filing cabinet. Well, that shelving unit that is sitting there. Oh, another cross here as Bosco continues to dance back and forth. The rest of Space Station Gaming, though, currently on the western rappel. They have gotten the wall open. That's going to be both of Canadian's exothermic charges down. He's opened detention as well as armory wall. So it looks like Space Station actually might be going horizontally here or just setting up for their post plant already. We have drones clearing out customs, so they grab control of that first. They want top control when they go for this vents plant as well. That's why Bosco is continually contesting this. They want to force MIBR back. MIBR has actually already given up control of armory lockers as well. They just need to reach out and grasp it. Oh, we are going to have a lineup set up through Canadian as well, but it's not going to be Canadian making it. It's going to be Rampy.
Ball has been opened up. They have a good idea as to the position of Navi's as well. Talked about how critical Navi's has been to past round wins. They're more than likely aware that he is holding the pulse scanner directly at that window. It's still going to be allowing him to pick up an opening kill, though, as Rampy is caught trying to swing onto the workshop doorway from front. Not going to work out very well for Rampy as he goes down, only trading about half the HP off onto Navi's. A swing out into the hall, though, as once again MIBR is getting aggressive. They'll pay for that, though. Hugs will take about half his damage, but Navi's gets himself a second and a third, barely taking any damage in the process. Folks will trade outside of that fight, being able to isolate M King. He'll look for a second against the enemy Jaeger, being played by Cyber, but Bullet will instead catch the kill on Thinking Nade from on top of the hatch, and just after that, Bullet swings in for one more on Folks. MIBR hold great control of the downstairs site to reclaim round number 3.
And this is all on SSG not taking that top control like they needed to. They'd already had everything set up, but they throw a lot of bodies downstairs, and MIBR wins out all of those gunfights. Sometimes it really just does come down to, do you win your gunfights or not? I know we talk about objective play and how to use your utility and everything all the time inside of this game, but sometimes it really just comes down to how well do you click mouse 1. That's really it. So that's going to be that round done and dusted. As we move over to round 4, we're going to have Alibi picked up by Hugzord. Operator we don't see too often, and that's why it deserves a little talking to. Alibi has prismas that are holograms of herself. If you shoot them or pre-fire them or whatever have you, as long as you make contact with them, even with your drones, you are marked for 5 seconds, and it continuously pings you for that time. So very creative operator that was graciously added to the Team Rainbow. Do still have a long road ahead for MIBR, though, on this defensive half. So 3 rounds to go as we're entering round 4 for their split. They're going to be headed to customs. Now, with Border, there's 2 really good sites. You have vents, you have armory lockers. But when it comes down to the last 2, well, saying that they're great would be kind of an overstatement. You have tellers and you have customs. It's more of a pick your poison sort of instance. MIBR choosing to go customs. Both of these sites require vertical control, so make sure you have a handle on that. For MIBR, they're going to have to worry about blue. That's why you see all the ADSs getting set up by Cyber right now, and the rest of MIBR being upstairs inside of Armory. They want to try and prevent this western balcony as much as humanly possible. Marcy's doing a great job of just showing everything that we talk about.
Yeah.
Our observers have just been kick-ass throughout this entire tournament.
Awesome stuff so far from the observation team. Big props to them.
Big ups to the homie.
Big ups to the man. Got SSG once more. Specifically, you're going to see Bosco in just a second. They've gone back onto the Jackal now. Move in on top of the band bridge. And start moving in. Try and put a little bit more pressure onto the Armory area here. Same can be said for Fultz, who is going to go top clear this time. The rest of the team, in fact, doing this as well. They expect the defensive setup, remember, to be closer towards CCTV this time, since we are going against the custom site, not over in Workshop or even Tellers, where we see a lot more of that upstairs focus being focused on, well, this area here on the inside of Office. Free control goes over into SSG. They do seem to have intel onto a Fountain Camp. There it is. Fultz will quickly take that out. The team will take control of Fountain in just a second. Archives here probably as well.
Space Station making pretty good work of the round so far. They have control of what they need. They have Bosco on AC, but as soon as I say that, he'll adjust over to Sandwich as the push is getting deeper and deeper into sight. They're trying to provide pressure from every single angle. Oh, Bosco just going to be in the range of Maestro's feet as he's walked across Armory recently. So now going to have some Jackal pings on him. Fultz, for the time being, is one of the 2 SSG members upstairs. We just saw Rampy to the left-hand side of your screen, but it's actually going to be Bosco first-blooded here from Navi's.
Navi's once again stepping up to the plate for MIBR, already going massive in this match alone. Trying to once again carry that legacy forward a bit more, but he is being hunted out. A couple separate fights going to engage themselves, but SSG win them both. Cyber and Bullet down for the count. M-King still in the area with the ability to transfer between CCTV and Armory without being spotted by the outside ping. This time, though, a drone's going to catch him out, and Canadian completes the pinch on the western balcony in order to eliminate M-King. There is one more player trying to throw a wrench into the works here. Was just on top of Metal Stairs a second ago and is still there. I believe it is Navi's. So having to be very, very careful about that. Seems they're ready for the swing, though. The beepers ping. Navi's tries to go out. Will take a bit of an even stand, and that fight tries to cross back to the inside and makes it as well. There was a member of Space Station holding the main door, which should have been able to cut Navi's off, but that doesn't happen. And now Hugs will directly contest the jail opening.
You can see how SSG continuously opens up angles to make it harder for these players to move around. Oh, but Navi's on a big flank here. He could win the round off of this, but Rampy has a sixth sense, and he'll kill Navi's before he can do too much. But when it does come down to that time, it was really only preventing somebody from putting a diffuser down. You're more than likely not going to get all those kills, and Rampy looking up just at the right time as well. So equal footing between these two right now, 2-2, excuse me. As MIBR still has 2 rounds on defense. SSG, though, doing a very good job of chopping up the map, and that's what Border's all about. Make sure you're trying to open up as many of those lines of sight as possible to make it extremely difficult for those defenders to move. Something that you can apply across almost every single map in this entire game, but for Border, it truly does mean the world. It makes it super, super hard to rotate, especially when you have things like Nomad in play, where you just put air jabs down and forget all about it, because now you know that they can't rotate through rooms like offices and things of that sort.
SSG, once again, just kind of prioritizing control and being able to establish angles on MIBR, putting them into such a small space that they're almost forced to make a move against Space Station. And more likely than not, here's the thing, they will make a move just because they've been playing a very aggressive game so far. Space Station, I think, towards the end of Villa, finally started to realize that. They were a little bit slow to latch onto it once again here, though, but now have finally started to make that adjustment with their last attack, pinching out the MIBR members, especially upstairs, one by one, and slowly taking the control that they need to safely push up to the site.
Okay, well, MIBR gonna be going for their CCTV hold once again. No shield this time to try and help them out on this southeast corner of CCTV. Have some barbed wire on metal as well as a complete office setup here from MIBR. So they're extended to the absolute max at this point in time. We're going to have 2 people actually on the site. The other 2 going to be inside of offices and 1 inside of CCTV. So this is a lot of questions coming Space Station's way. They need to find the answers quickly. They're going to initially burn the ADS because they know that there's going to be an Evil Eye there from M King. Very traditional setup that gets ran by a lot of teams now.
Bolts now swinging up to the balcony as well. Gonna move over the top in just a second here, looking to clear out that setup from MIBR, sitting on the inside of CCTV. That'll be the first focus. Navi's again, though, stepping up to the plate, finding Fultz. He's not gonna make it out alive, though. He's had a much better track record of doing that. This time, he's finally caught out by SSG. Picking Nate there for the trade.
Has 3 opening kills in a row for Navi. He's putting the team on his back right now, and that's exactly what they need. They're currently down a map. They need to make sure that border is theirs. Otherwise, they're going to the lower bracket. Nobody wants to see that. Ramping the rest of SSG, though, all except for Fultz, who died earlier in the round on that trade that happened. Still have 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go. Still plenty of map control to worry about as well. They're working the eastern balcony, and as you guys can see, they're spread pretty thin across the entire map, just trying to see what gives first. More than likely looking for another pick early on inside of this round. If I could possibly talk, that'd really, really help. Sandwich pressure now onto the window. But yes, for the time being, it does look like SSG is going for offices. They've rotated the hard breach of Canadian across so that he can open up the triple wall. This is going to be their main focus for the time being. No wall prevention for MIBR on defense either, so that is guaranteed. Now it's all up to MIBR to shut down this take as Canadian sprints his way towards, I'm going to assume, AC.
Little rappel up onto the checkpoint bridge. Canadian will start to put the pressure in from the alternate windows, being very cautious of that run out. He's double-checked to make sure that the Claymore is down. And he's also checking the walls one. You may be wondering why he's doing that. Vault cams, that's the reason why. Little annoying cameras that can be thrown basically anywhere. Bosco also with the pinch against the mini player. That's once again going to be M King on the Maestro that they are trying to isolate out right now. Rampy making a dash across to the other side to also regroup, I would imagine, with the team trying to push their way back in. But look at this, because it's left undefended due to the re-rotation of Rampy, Cyber swings out for free and finds another pick against SSG.
Oh, this means everything right now. Rampy's adjusted all the way across the map. Bullet kills Canadian on AC, though. Bosco gets a trade, 2 versus True. Does anyone have the diffuser, though? That's the main question. Rampy gets another. Last one's down inside of Archive. Diffuser's outside. He sees him, and Rampy gets him. Oh, my, what a read from Rampy. He's been such an important player for SSG throughout this entire tournament, and he proves once again just why.
Seemed like he was going to be getting some slack for that round due to the rotate, but it ends up saving his team's life at the end of the day. They'll take that 1-for-3 trade ultimately after he managed to leave the position. And while we did have one player from MIBR swing out, he makes the impact back in a much bigger way with the re-rotate around to push in through the armory wall and decimate the forces from MIBR still sitting on the inside of armory itself.
SSG's entire plan with Border on offense is, hey, let's open up every single angle to where you have to worry about every single angle.
Basically just make MIBR make the mistakes. Don't leave themselves room to make mistakes on the attacking side. Let's let MIBR make them for us.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to go back upstairs. So I'm going to walk you guys through this very quickly. And obviously, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Again, 60% of the time, it works every time, right? That's how it goes.
I suppose.
So, yeah. So for Space Station Gaming, they're going to try and get a lot of pressure towards the site from windows early on here. You'll see them establish some claimers early on. Then get on rappels to try and make it to where that MIBR cannot rotate freely in between the sites. Then they go for their hard destruction, or they're likely going to go for office again just to get the wall open, but they might just scratch that altogether because it didn't work very well the last time. But the main thing you need to make sure that you are looking for is those openings that Space Station creates. They'll usually keep around 2 to 3 people together to get that hard breach to go off. Then they go back to their original positions to make it to where one gunfight start happening and people want to rotate to reload or whatever. They just get the free pick on the back end instead. They're trying to guarantee their gunfights with separate angles, and it's working out beautifully for them.
So, round timer has begun. Space Station now unleashed upon the field. And once more, going up against the Armory Archives defense from MIBR. Similar setup being brought to the table for them this time. Navi's once more will be the mainstay hold from the inside of Office and Archives itself, trying to leverage those cameras into a win. But with an IQ, those cameras are almost a non-factor. There's been pretty much flawless IQ play as far as I've been able to tell from Rampy so far throughout this match. So there's no reason to think why any type of gadget work would really end up getting away without being checked by Rampy or another member of SSG. They do catch the position of M-King for just a moment. It's only his gun, though, and they didn't have an angle onto any self-destruction to actually connect some shots on him. Navi's again, though, starts us off with the opening kill on the round, and it's against Thinking Nades. The Zofia will be knocked out, trying to go up Repel.
That's going to be 4 rounds in a row that Navi's had the opening, and M-King lets that chopper sing. 2 SSG members hit the floor, but not before Rampy has something to say about it. But he'll quickly be disregarded, all down to Bosco in this 1 versus 4. He gets a beautiful shot on the bullet. He's still on the Western Repel, though. They know exactly where he is, with half the timer left on the clock. Diffuser down on West Balcony as well. Bosco seeing if anybody wants to step up to the plate, but overall not the best take from SSG. Got broken apart by MIBR as SSG tried to adjust to go for the Armory Lockers wall instead. That's something that we talked about a little bit early on. Oh no, Bosco with some boxed shots, or some bot shots, excuse me, ends up missing those, and Navi's will actually end up getting the kill.
Navi's.
Some boxed shots, by the way.
Yeah. Boxed away from his opponent's hitbox.
Oh. Hey.
There you go. Saved it for you.
Good job. This is why you're the duo.
All right, so into the next round we go. We have switched sides in the meantime, though, so with that round going into the hands of MIBR, that's another even half between these two teams, locked at 3-3. Remember, here in Siege, it is the 1st to 7 that closes out a game, at least in regulation, and if OT is triggered at a tied 6-6, then 8 becomes the winning number. Armory Archives, again, though, going to be the opening site for SSG.
Anybody else having flashbacks to Villa? I'm having flashbacks to Villa.
Well, I mean, we are on the same score, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we are. We're on the exact same
That would make
score.
sense.
3-3.
Very close fought affair. MIBR and specifically Navi's really playing their hearts out right now. He's not alone in either. Bullet and M-King have been perfect with their mid-round play. Obviously not as much impact from players like Hugs and Cyber, but for the most part, M-King, Bullet, and Navi's have been doing quite enough of the heavy lifting for this squad to come out on top.
SSG's first defense, opening up a lot of vertical sight lines. They have one currently inside of Sandwich, so you can play the Sandwich window from below. Bosco opening up a couple others, just look for default plant and such. So nothing too out of the ordinary, but definitely out of the ordinary from your regular games that we play at home. Mute will be picked up, but no Mozzie for the defense. Instead, we're going to be rounding things out with Jaeger, Echo, Smoke, and Goyo. So SSG going to be applying at least 3 shields here, unless we have another one in the lineup for them.
Just opening up the usual angles at the start of the round for MIBR. That south door leading into break. The rest of the team's going to group up over here towards Armory wall relatively quickly as well, and very swiftly moving in to try and take control of CCTV. And one from SSG on the inside. They may have already droned it, which is why he's kind of keen on just haphazardly being willing to peek the angle into CCTV. Just like I said, no one from Space Station is holding this position. They're anchoring down, focusing much more on the site and the first floor play in the same area so as to avoid anyone from taking control and isolating out their half-wall player.
Oh, the timing here from Navi is going to get plenty of intel on who's inside of stock. There's a hole down low as well, and you see there's a hole been made, but remember, these work both ways. Hugzor can also kill the gentleman playing down low. They flood the door with stuns and frag grenades to make sure that nobody can possibly trick. They actually end up setting off a Goyo shield as well as the wall gets bursted open. Concussions pour in from Bullet. Navi's with the first kill onto Canadian. That was down low. It was the Mute who tried to run out the door, but they already knew that he was coming.
Good reads once again from MIBR, not slipping up in the mid-round as much as we've seen a little bit here from Space Station. It's been a messy series for them. Thinking Nade with a nice find, though, is able to pick up a frag onto Cyber. That's the sledge gone down as they try to take first contact to push into the site.
20 left on the clock now as MIBR is trying to find a way onto site. They're burning so much utility though. Hugzord out of concussions, or excuse me, out of stuns. M-King out of stuns. Hugzord now going for the plant. Bullet doesn't have any concussions though. They're gonna have to try and burn out all of these toxic babes from the smoke. He's playing on the reinforcement inside of Mini. And they don't have a way to dig him out either. Having Cyber die when he still had frag grenades as well. Very, very important. Gonna go for it once again. Another toxic babe, more than likely to answer that.
Echo's still
That's
a factor
exactly what it's gonna be. And as you said, Echo's still a factor. Navi's still playing down low. Rampy gets punished as he rotates to the bottom of metal. Still 3 remaining members here for SSG. Navi's could rotate underneath and kill Bosco inside of Mini from the hatch that's open. Hugzord going to get smoked off again. Plenty of damage going on. Thinking Nate swings on Sandwich, gets 1, gets 2. That's a triple for him on the round as we still have some pressure on metal. Bosco's actually dropped the hatch and worked his way downstairs. It's all left up to Hugzord and Bullet to try and get this plant down. Hugzord does not have very much HP either as he continues to dance with fate. Bullet on overlook right now as he has to get aggressive to make sure that nobody can possibly kill him. And this looks like the plan, but Bolts gets 1. Can he get the second? He can't. They know where the last one is. Bosco swings from Beepers and Space Station making good work on their defense.
Space Station picking up the opening round here now in order to take control for them over at Armory Archives. Once again, as you had mentioned, just way too much utility being utilized by MIBR in the early round to, first of all, get the Armory wall open and burn out any of the Goyo shields and normal shields that were positioned beyond that. Big waste of utility, unfortunately, for MIBR makes them unable to push into the site without stuns or frag grenades to take out the players at Mini, half wall, and at the lockers themselves. And then everything just ticks down from that point. SSG have no reason to contest in the midst of that round due to the fact that, well, they've got Echo drones up and ready to go at a moment's notice if they need to interrupt the plant attempt, should worse come to worse.
Attackers need to locate.
Really, that kill on the Cyber is what won them the round. I believe he still had 1 frag grenade, but as you guys know, that's how Siege goes. There's 10 operators with a ton of utility. Might have missed 1 there. But we saw 1 bounce inside the door of Armory Locker's wall. I'm going to assume that Cyber had 1. If he had 1, they definitely could have helped him out there because they had already burned the ADSs, just throw one into Mini, kill the smoke, and then you have a free plant. But that was played so perfectly by Bosco. Great utility usage, and above all, amazing shots from Thinking Nate. A kill on a Sandwich, flicks back to Beepers, kills the man pressuring from Beepers. That round right there was truly the Thinking Nate show.
We've brought up before about how the TCSG is not an easy weapon to control, let alone line up for headshots, especially after the first bullet has gone out if you're trying to control the spray, so to speak, even though it is a semi-automatic weapon. Seems like, once again, Thinking Nate mastering some aspects of this game that go a little bit understated at times. So really great stuff from Thinking Nate to control the situation, and most importantly, that guns kick as well as he was able to.
That guns kick is truly ridiculous.
It is a shotgun, though, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, that's one of the funniest conversations with people that are brand new to this game, is when they're like, oh yeah, he has a DMR, and you're like, nah, man, that's a shotgun. That is a slug shotgun that hits like a freight train. That thing really, really hurts, and that's the beauty of it. But again, this is what I like about Siege, is there's these characters like Kaed, where, you know, it takes a lot of skill in order to play with his gun, but if you're good with it, you can kill an entire team with 1 magazine, you know? It truly shows you just what the skill ceiling is, or the skill gap between your regular, everyday player and these professional player is, especially on that Kaed play. But SSG going downstairs now, though. Defensive setup upstairs. Thinking Nate continuing to be a very pivotal piece to the puzzle here for SSGs. He gets a kill into Hugzord. That's going to be the only hard breach as well, so it's going to have a huge influence over how this round goes.
Users just going to get shuffled around here a little bit as they're slightly timid on what's going to happen with this Western Wall breach. Nothing much happening from MIBR's perspective just yet. And once again, the setup is there. It's a little bit different this time from SSG. You'll note that they've kind of changed up the setup slightly for this new site. Most importantly, no Goyo shields being brought into the table, and a lot more active roaming presence, and that's to position it up here while still being agile enough to rotate back down to the site should time and or the specific situation dictate that.
Well, MIBR trying to figure this out. They're down a hard breach, which means they just need to hit site and try and get some sort of pressure. Only have a little bit of damage on the Thinking Nate as well, so this is getting a little bit more difficult. Drone gets expended inside of site, but not before it gets plenty of intel on the positioning of Bosco. Navi's working his way in, and he's been able to do this quite often now, and oh no, gonna get caught with his pants down is Bosco, but it's almost immediately traded by Thinking Nate through the hatch of Server. So Space Station still staying with that man advantage. MIBR is adjusted all the way over to Tellers, now inside a bathroom, sledging open the wall. They have access to the back of Workshop and Diffuser in Cyber's hand. Canadian playing this vertically right now. If Cyber rotates back in, he will surely die, but no, it's going to be the first rotate out by M-King. They're gonna assume this room is safe, though, if they want to come back to it. That means Troy is going to stick around up top.
Canadian either not lining up the angle or just not catching the player running across his position right there. Faults at the next 5, though. There we go. There's Canadian's lineup. Patience is the key here. And the second one goes right into his favor. Thinking Nate actually gets the credit for it ultimately, but it might as well have gone over to his teammate as well. SSG with another round going their direction. So far, this defense on border looking very, very solid.
Tactical timeout taken by Gil and the rest of MIBR, and this is a perfect time. The banana monitor is just not working out. I think you need to switch it out for a pineapple or some other fruit. Try and get some more power in there. That banana's kind of old as well. Maybe get a fresher one, you know?
It's starting to.
Yeah, the battery's dying.
I think we got a couple more of those out by the catering stand, so.
Powered by bananas. Powered by bananas. Overall, though, for MIBR, it hasn't exactly been a terrible offense. They've been able to get a couple of things done to get in towards site, but it's just SSG with this great utility usage as well is not faltering when it comes to MIBR taking map control. They're not just like, oh yeah, you can have it. They want those gunfights, and MIBR is just not really able to win them on this offensive side. They looked a hell of a lot better on their defense, where they were able to rotate around. We saw their roam games actually working out quite nicely, all except really truthfully for that first round. But now on the offense, again, very troublesome for them, as some amazing utility and amazing teamwork coming out from SSG.
Should be running out of time on that timeout any moment now and setting us back into the game. Only 2 more rounds away from seeing SSG move forward further into the upper bracket, making this a great day for North American teams once again as they continue onward without really anyone dropping down to the lower bracket.
We can't let them know we're American on broadcast, so don't tell them.
Yeah, I know. I'm just building the storyline.
I know. They don't know.
Just telling them what else happened.
Yeah, I know. They don't want to hear that if Space Station wins, that all 3 of the NA teams won.
I mean, so here's the thing. I have a choice of either presenting a positive point with the 3 North American teams going through, or I can present a negative point in the 2 Brazilian teams going down to the lower bracket. So I didn't want to put that one out there. You know, put salt in the wound before it's even been cut.
Yeah, that's
why I went for the positive route.
Well, I mean, yeah.
A feel-good type of guy.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. But no, yeah, exactly. If Space Station ends up winning, though, it's a very good day for NA. Again, guys, for all the NA fans, we haven't won a major event since Year 1 Season 3. So that's a very long time for North America, which is why everyone has been just like, aha, EU. But EU wins like literally everything. So if it's literally anyone else besides EU, there's going to be a lot of happy Rainbow Six Siege fans.
That's for certain. MIBR, in the meantime, though, also bringing quite a bit of firepower to the table on this matchup. They're certainly not out of it just yet, especially after coming off of attack pause. We'll see what type of new stuff they try to bring to the table. Navi's and a couple other members of this team have been having a phenomenal match from an individual point of view. And oftentimes, that can be enough to bring a team out of a bad situation in these rounds here. So, still be able to see, this lineup could work out. Is he still on the angle? No, unfortunately not. That means Canadian's going to be able to go across, and I believe it was Hugs that was holding it before, potentially Navi's, but whoever was watching to the inside of the break room is not going to be able to catch that free frag against the rotating Canadian.
I love it when you have players walking around the outside of the map because you get to see how many people are set up. But M-King actually with the first blow, it's Rampy. That's the Jaeger. Don't know exactly where he has died, but all you have to know is that he's dead for the time being, all up until the next round. Space Station obviously can still clutch up, as Space Station's actually done quite a good job throughout this entire series so far of winning rounds when they are first pick. 3 of their 5 rounds right now are all from rounds when they lose a man first, but Bullet's going to make it even more difficult. Canadian dies inside of box that sits inside of CCTV. So now the rest of the squad downstairs, and then MIBR has all of top control. Again, this is customs, very difficult site to hold, but MIBR doing a fantastic job of making sure to get these early picks.
MIBR looking for even more here as well. Navi's going to be moving himself potentially to the inside of CC relatively soon. Obviously being cautious on that. due to the potential danger that'll present to him. But the rest of his teammates are going to take that control without too much of a problem. The drone is actually just being repositioned down at the bottom of the hatch inside of Mini. Thinking Nade going on a route. This is very dangerous right now. He goes down without a response. The team is more than likely not going to have enough gas to get out of this round. But we shall see. Bolt's trying to do something similar from upstairs in the office, is spamming around with a large amount of that magazine. Bosco will get caught by an air jab on run out. Thankfully for him, no one in position to immediately punish that, but they've got his position locked. In the meanwhile, though, Bosco finds two, downing one, finishing him off the shotgun and quickly switching over. Fultz will be traded, though, and the plant is now going down. Bosco anywhere nearby to interrupt this is not looking like it. He's getting hard ping spam, but no! Cyber has the off angle from the top floor, and that is going to allow for MIBR to close out and keep this game on roll.
That is the danger of SSG right there, is those little instances are like, oh, it's a 1v5. There's no way that he possibly does anything. And then 2 quick M590 blasts can change your mind. But overall, MIBR, a great take. Isolated those roamers or those rotations very early from SSG, and a great read on Thinking Nade coming up the long hallway of 90. So that means we're at 5-4. MIBR can equalize here, but we are going back to the regular rotation. If, well, history repeats itself, that's going to be Armory, Archives, into Ventilation Workshop, and SSG won both of those. So if obviously trends lean towards the positive for SSG, then they are walking away in 7-4 fashion. But MIBR is actually starting to warm up on the offense. I want to see how they try and handle Armory lockers now.
Still a couple players kind of needing to step up to the plate a little bit here. Hugs specifically yet to find much of a contribution for the team with only 1 frag. But thankfully, like I said before, everybody else doing pretty good right now on MIBR. That's a large part of the reason why they've been able to keep up in this map and on Villa as well, is off of that individual fragging power. Navi specifically, though, here's the key thing. They've been relying a little bit too much on him on that defensive half, and he's been bringing out massive plays for the team to close out rounds. But really, to be honest, haven't seen a whole lot in terms of impact from him so far on the attacking side. It's been still kills happening in the mid-round and whatnot, but like I said, this is impact. We're talking about things that give the team room on the map, that knock out key players that are delaying their assault, other things like that. And we just haven't seen as much of that, at least from my own observation on Navi so far on the attacking side.
Overall, a great bout between these two as well. MIBR having a decent LAN history, but LATAM overall only winning 1 Pro League final. It was Liquid that was able to pull that off, so very impressive play from them. But APAC, while we're talking about regions, also hasn't won anything. So this tournament overall, only having truly G2 left for EU, if I can pull that from my memory very quickly.
BDS is still in as well.
Oh, BDS is in as well. I'm always forgetting these losses that we have a lower bracket now.
Yeah.
Again, this is new to everyone, folks, so it's kind of a mental change here. But yes, we have 2 representatives from EU right now. But overall, the people that haven't won very much are on top of the leaderboard. That's the main thing here. That's the main storyline, that LATAM, APAC, NA, anybody can take it. EU obviously still having 2 representatives. This matchup so far, though, on Border, quite the tussle between these two. MIBR finally finding the first offensive round. Navi's 12-1 and 7, been very impactful so far on Border. We've seen him have quite an impact overall inside of this series, especially on Villa as well.
Just bringing out the ADS from the inside of the Armory wall. We've got Hugs in position to try and breach the wall over the next couple of moments here. In the meantime, the rest of the squad just trying to make sure no one's going to be at the wall here. It's actually, there is, seems like a second ADS that is able to eat up that frag. Oh, in the meantime, M-King backs away just in the nick of time when he realizes that there is a top-down play open up for Space Station to utilize from down below. Either way, Armory wall is going to be open up. It's going to restrict the presence from SSG a little more. Don't believe they have anyone at half wall right now, and they really can't put anyone there as a result of the wall being opened up for this team to push in. So Space Station playing much closer to the chest, much closer to the lockers and mini area to defend against the push.
Navi's worked his way into customs now, so they have pressure underneath, looking for the roamers. Navi's doing his best Ash impression. He is on Ash, crouch walking up the hallway. They're going to get a drone. This should be a pretty easy kill. Navi clicks the 4 out of Canadian, but not before Thinking Nade immediately trades it for Cyber. So we're still on equal man advantage here. Bosco trying to find some safe space as he gets droned out inside a mini. Plenty of damage dealt to him, but should have some ADSs here to be able to help him out, otherwise he might be in some trouble. The lucky thing, though, they killed Cyber first once again. Breaching charge underneath will knock down Bosco as he tries to drop the hatch, but Navi gets him mid-air instead as he works his way up beepers. This is going to be all up to SSG to try and make something happen here. Rampy almost gets lit up from that last little bit of toxic smoke. Thinking Made gets another one here, so we're down to a 2 versus 3. Toxic Babes are gone now. Yokai drone, impact underneath, trying to find where this man's planting. Plenty of damage. Oh no, but the pistol doesn't line up. He has to get off. Hugzord switches things up. They still do have Yokai drones there for Fultz, though. He's getting the hard pings once again. That's going to be a perfect kill for him. And Fultz is going to get another one. It's all down to Bolt to try and plant this thing, but they already have the Yokai drone set up, and Space Station wins on some fantastic utility usage as well as adjustments to rotating downstairs.
In the meanwhile, Navi's is like he heard me, man, doing all that work to open up the avenue for MIBR to take the site with, and just not being able to properly deal with the utility setup, along with, of course, our man downstairs holding and trying to knock out that planter. It certainly takes him a minute, but the additional support coming in from the Yokai drones is enough in order to delay the plant and stop the play from MIBR. SSG bring it back under their control despite a massive man disadvantage, and now sit on map and match point to continue their crusade through the upper bracket and send MIBR down to the lower one.
Well, Vents Workshop could possibly be our last crucible between these two. This will be the defending point here for SSG on this map. So MIBR still has 38 seconds to figure out what they want to do. Last time that they attacked this site, though, they had a lot of trouble getting some pressure up top, and eventually just tried to hit the site instead after losing Hugzord, which did not work out too well. They got some control of Bathroom, as you can see to the right-hand side of Fultz, but then quickly Space Station Gaming killed the rest of MIBR off. So we'll have to see if this can happen over again for Space Station, or if MIBR can continue this map on. Last time we went to max OT on Villa in order to close out the map. MIBR has a chance to get us to at least OT once again, but they're going to have to link 2 rounds together. Same lineup here for this Vents defense. Mute, Mozzie combo, Jaeger, Goyo, but actually the last time they had a Bandit instead of the Goyo here. I guess that Thinking Nate's just feeling it with that TCSG, because he has been lighting the world on fire with that thing.
Another interesting piece of feedback here for MIBR, in my opinion, is that I'm noticing a lot of air jabs being successfully triggered, like they're not being detected by Space Station, or they're being ignorant of them running into it. But I've yet, as far as I can tell anyway, I've yet to see anyone actually get killed as a direct result of an air jab, despite at least 2 or 3 of them going off on the past couple of rounds. Potentially need to see MKing tighten up their air jab positioning a little bit here so they can properly rotate back and punish those when they finally do get triggered in the late run situations that SSG is constantly getting tripped up by.
4 members of SSG currently off-site, all upstairs. They know that MIBR wants control early. Navi is going to dump 2 stuns, but doesn't get aggressive on those. Just seeing if there's any ADSs. That's a huge kill for Fultz. Oh my, channeling his Redeemer from last year on this roster. Looking so damn good on this Maestro. Again, very impactful kill. Navi's has the most kills currently for MIBR on this offensive squad. Stun grenades now pouring in once again, but you have to capitalize on this utility usage. That's the main thing here. Might be able to get a Goyo shield with that frag grenade. Concussion pours in, but it's not going to do too much. Will the frag grenade get the Goyo shield? It won't even get that. All of this utility usage just to get the wall open to make sure that no one is bandit tricking. But there is not even a bandit in sight for SSG. Still plenty of time for MIBR to try and make something happen, but really their only claim to fame for the time being is CCTV control.
Bullet waiting for a mistake to be made, waiting for someone from SSG just to step a little bit too far back. He knows he's got Thinking Nate right to the left of that doorway, but he won't dare make a commitment to the push. He's actually going to wrap out. Remember, there's no control for his team in this part of the map right now. He can move in, yeah, he'll be able to take that out, but trying to go any further than this, including to the inside of office, is near suicide for Bullet here. Just due to the fact that I doubt it's even really been droned out this late into the round, so they're not focusing on it. Oh no, the hammer giving away the position of Cyber as he swings in, acting as a cue for Thinking Nate. Fultz as well now with a triple on the round. Only 1 left. It's MKing on the upside down rappel at Lockers. Gonna try and pull off the impossible, but I think this is it. He's gone down off rappel. Diffuser is also down right in the middle of the site. SSG have nothing to worry about here. Everything is on MKing's shoulders, and I just don't think it's really gonna be possible for him. Trying to swing out into the open, already taking a massive amount of damage from what remained from his HP, down to right around 10 now. Take out the default cam, does not get spotted by it. He's gonna have a hatch above him get opened up. No immediate drop from the Space Station players though. Won't be able to drop onto him just yet. Unfortunately though, he doesn't even have enough time to run upstairs, let alone get to the site and start a plant. This is over, ladies and gentlemen. Space Station Gaming go up to 7 and claim map number 2 in their favor. A 2-0 victory for them. They push onward further into the upper bracket semifinals and send MIBR down to the lower bracket to fight for survival.
MIBR not able to get a clean attack there. Throw all their pressure through Armory Locker's wall and get decimated by a man with an Alda. That's all she wrote, though, for this match between SSG and MIBR. We could always see it further into the tournament, though, as once again, MIBR has just moved to the lower bracket. They're not done just yet, ladies and gentlemen. LATAM still has 2 representatives.
Another example of frags don't win you the game. Navi's actually the top player in terms of kills for that game at right around, I think it was 14 and 9 overall for the game itself. Highest players on SSG were at, I think, 13 and 11 or something like that. We'll get the full stats, of course, in a moment for you, and they're going to be available on Siege GG after the fact. But Navi's just playing his heart out in this series, carrying it through all aspects of both maps, and it still was not enough for the team to claim victory overall in this series. What a great one it was, but that is going to be our last match for the day. Don't go anywhere just yet, though, as we still have one more Analyst Desk segment. What's that, Stokes, before we go away? You have something to say?
Oh, no, I have nothing to say.
All right,
we can toss it to the beautiful people
analysts
over on the desk. I was just like, throw it, do the thing.
Do the thing, Blue, do the thing. Thank you for sending it over to the desk, Blue and Stokes. It was great listening to you guys throughout this entire series, and Blue touched up on something quite special. When it comes to stats, it tells half the story, but poor Navi's, man.
Yeah, Novice was, I think he really felt like he had to make a play in order for the team to work. And on defense, it actually wasn't so bad. He was in the opening engagement all but one round, and he won all but one of those opening engagements.
What?
In a 3.0 KD for opening engagements, and he was insane. I mean, Novice was the best player in the server, undoubtedly, but this is a team game after all, and Space Station were much more balanced.
A 3.0 KD when it came to entry kills.
Yep, that's it.
Navi's is insane. But there was something about their playstyle which didn't help them when it had to do with them going against Space Station Gaming. And you said, Imzo, that it seemed like MIBR, they just had tunnel vision when it came to entering the site, and SSG did something a little bit different. What was it?
Yeah, SSG were a lot more about boxing the players, and they were a little bit slow and steady on their takes. They would just box them in, trap them, whereas you saw the players on attack from MIBR funneling in like lambs to the slaughter. Just right into the grindhouse, especially to players. You were talking about 3 and K?
Yeah.
Talking about my man Thinking Nade, just pulverizing them with that TCSG. Just, I mean, he may not have had the most kills, but he had by far the most impact. Multiple 3Ks from that man.
Efficient impact kills is what we call it. So I also want to give a shout out to Navi. He did a fantastic job as Ash, especially on the flank watch. We saw him in round 7, where he was able to get 2 kills on Mute and yet another player. But then he was shut down as his team's strategy was not up to par. But also, that was last match of the day, and MIBR, they're gonna go down to the losers bracket. So Dev Martin, what type of mindset do you need to have if you go to the losers bracket? Because they're not happy.
I mean, the success we saw from MIBR in that game, and there was some success. They had some really good defensive half. They just need to keep up that confidence, keep up their aggressive playstyle, play like they know works for them, and keep going with it.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, if you've been living under a rock, this is what has been happening all day today. Take a look at the left side of your screen. Imzo, what matches really stood out to you?
I mean, obviously, the G2 Fnatic, that was the one. But I mean, TSM Fnatic even coming up from that could be just as hype with how everyone's been playing. It's hard to pick a favorite, but yeah, G2 Fnatic, you can't beat that.
And you want to talk about iconic rivals in esports, not just Rainbow Six, G2 Fnatic, TSM Fnatic. It's just,
what?
Couldn't be scripted more perfectly. And another pattern that we've got is, I know you guys are going to want to get around this, but TSM, Space Station, Dark, so we've got 3 out of 4 teams and remaining in the upper bracket from North America. APAC's up there too with Fnatic, and the lower bracket is all Europe and Latin America.
So hey, production, keep this picture up. Guys, I'm really bad at math, but how many European teams won today?
Not a whole lot.
So there were 2 teams that played, and okay, G2 didn't win, beat it. Oh, they lost.
How insane is this? NA and APAC are left in the winner's side of the bracket.
It reflects his desk perfectly. Majority NA with a little bit of APAC.
That's actually so true. You know, the context of this as well, for those who don't know our Rainbow Six esports history, NA has not won a major Six Invitational or Pro League finals since the 2017 Invitational, the very first Invitational.
But guess who won
the first one?
Canadian?
Yep.
He's coming back for it. He's coming back for revenge.
Oh, yeah, he is.
So, pretty insane what's been going on so far. But, hey, tomorrow we have some pretty intense matches. We saw what was going on. APAC's chances, I bet you feel pretty comfortable about that, correct?
I'm not going to lie. If Fnatic have beaten Empire, they've beaten G2, I think the two best teams to ever touch Rainbow Six, TSM, look, they're looking pretty hot right now, but Fnatic, I think they're going to take the serious fight to them.
By the way, production just let me know that they're European, so they might beat me up after the show for my jokes. But listen, I love EU. This just is not what I expected. Coming into Six Invitational, I mean, you take a look at teams like G2 and Empire, BDS, and this has been phenomenal. By far the best Siege tournament I have seen personally.
Yeah, I mean, you also can't discount the fact that Fnatic beat FaZe as well. Like, we're talking about Empire and G2, but FaZe has been a really strong LAN team many times. That's crazy. That's a big accomplishment because they showed it's not just, oh, we counter-stratted these two teams. It's like we are counter-stratting everyone, and we are going home with that trophy, you know, even if we have to kill them in person to get it.
Let's not do that now, okay?
Well, look, Fnatic haven't beaten an NA team yet at this event, however. Dark Zero was in their group, but they never actually encountered them.
Hey.
I would love to see that match eventually down the line, but yeah, to be honest, I think this is a really exciting prospect for us. We have the potential for a grand final between any of these teams, and to me, the only thing sad is that we're going to have to say goodbye to two of these teams tomorrow before we make it to the grand stage. Two of these 8 aren't going to make it up on there, and honestly, like looking at the loser bracket at the moment, it's either going to be BDS, MIBR, G2, or NIP. I can't imagine which two are going to go home.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for stage 3. By the way, tomorrow is day 2 of stage 2. We're not even at the last stage yet, but before we send them off to go to sleep, do whatever they want to do, play ranked as the goes they are, any last thoughts?
This isn't even my final form. That's what Fnatic is saying right now.
I'm just hyped for NA. Yeah, it's Fnatic going at it, but it's up against, right now off of Pro League, the top team in NA. They are on fire, but even if they beat TSM, you got SSG waiting in the wings. It's going to be a rough fight, but NA going all the way this time.
Hey, listen. Quality over quantity. Let's hope that NA, they still hold out strong. We still have Fnatic in the winner's bracket. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it so far here. Day 1, stage 2. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to see if APAC, they're going to keep things up, or if teams like BDS and G2 are going to hang on in the loser side of the bracket. I'm Belly. I was joined by Dev, Marta, and Emzo. Also, shout out to the other analysts that was out there. You guys were fantastic. But I'll see you guys day 2 for stage 2. Good night.